find a better day than this.
Temperature in around the 60s. It's always windy up here, however, at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium. As pitching for your Mountaineers will be Jack Zhang in his first start, not just his first start, but also his first pitching appearance ever for the App State Mountaineers transfer out of Schoolcraft College. Coming in for the 49ers, their starting lineup, Shander Riley at second base, Dawson Bryce at third base, Cody Gunderson at first, Noah Furch in right field, Carson Bain at center field, Thad Ector is your designated hitter, Logan Poteet at catcher, Connor Marinac as your shortstop, and Caleb Estes is their left fielder. Leading off for the 49ers, Chandler Riley. And App State trying to recover after coming off a lost series to the College of Charleston. Michael, what do you expect from this game today?
I'm expecting a very high-scoring game, and both teams have had trouble keeping runs off the board, so I think we'll have to expect an emphasis from both managers on their teams keeping as many runs off the board as possible, though we have some very dynamic lineups, so that's going to be hard to do.
As said before, Jack Zhang, the starting pitcher for the App State Mountaineers in his first start for the Mountaineers, first pitching appearance for the Mountaineers. He will face Chandler Riley, the second baseman, to start off. As I said, transfer from Schoolcraft College. He went 5-2 there, had 73 strikeouts, a 3.35 ERA for the Ocelots. What an interesting name there. His last game pitched, however, was on May 4th in 2023 versus Henry Ford College, where he pitched 6 innings. And that loss to Henry Ford College, that was 0-4. As we get set and ready to go, Michael, what do you take on this new pitching appearance for the Mountaineers for the first time?
I think just watching him play, it's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts to the D1 level. As you mentioned, having transferred in, you never know how a new player is going to adjust to an environment, adjust to new pressure, and we can only hope the best for Jack Zhang today.
He will face Chandler Riley, the second baseman for the 49ers. Jack Zhang, redshirted last year, was on the Mountaineer roster last year, did not play a single inning pitched. And now he will start the game today. High hopes for the Mountaineers as we get ready for the first pitch versus the 49ers on a great Tuesday afternoon/evening. This one will probably go into the night. We're glad you're with us, folks. Now the umpire going to stop the game already to have a talk. Interesting move there. We haven't even had the first pitch yet.
Yeah, this is certainly a curious decision. Is it perhaps something about out the field conditions here?
Possibly, and now we'll get back in their positions for your App State Mountaineers. While we have a little bit of time. Dylan Moquin in right, Joseph Zamora at second, John Kramer at left, Juan Cray at first, Tyler Lichtenberger shortstop, Tyler Figueroa center field. And we get ready for the first pitch from Jack Zhang as that one is hit straight towards Juan Cray, who misses the ball, and it'll be a base hit for Chandler Riley. He's going to run towards second and get there.
An extra base hit already, not a great sign for the Mountaineers, and they've been conceding a lot of runs, as we mentioned, this year. So I think they're just going to need to get themselves back on level terms and just settle back in, because the first run has not gone on the board yet.
So the first pitch of the game ends up in a double for Chandler Riley. As now coming in for the 49ers, Dawson Bryce, the third baseman. As Jack Zhang looks back towards second, where Chandler is. Now sets up for the pitch. Goes in. That one is low for ball number 1.
And apologies for what we mentioned earlier. It was scored as an error and not an extra base hit.
1-0 count for Jack Zhang facing Dawson Bryce. Chandler Bryce on second. Sets up for the 1-0. That one's sent in a little low, ball number 2. Jack Zhang had over 50 strikeouts at Schoolcraft College, the Ocelots, out of community college. 2-0 count now for Zhang. Chandler on second. It was considered an error by Juan Cray. It'll go in as E3. That one's hit towards third base. On it is Schwerub, and he will throw to first to get the out.
Yeah, just great job ranging over. No doubt from Schwerub there. And that's exactly what the Mountaineers need right now. And you just have to hope that they can continue this throughout the game for Jack Zhang's sake.
And now coming up, Cody Gunderson, the junior for the 49ers, number 22, the right-handed batter, facing Jack Zane, one out in the top of the first inning. Chandler Riley, excuse me. Sets up for the first pitch, pitch clock at 17. Looks back towards second at Riley. Throws in the pitch, that one's low and inside for ball number 1.
You also have to wonder if he's going to be avoiding Cody Gunderson a bit because he's batting .324 this year. Quite the hot start for him, and he's also had 2 home runs, so we'll have to see how Jack Zhang approaches this.
1-0 count for Jack Zhang. Now looks towards Gunderson, the batter. Looks back again towards Chandler Riley at second, sends in the 1-0. That one's hit towards second, and it's going to go past. Riley's heading home, and he will score the first points of the game for the 49ers off of a base hit.
And if you're the Mountaineers, you already seeing runs go on the board, but I think you just have to stay calm. You have to hold your nerve. You can't take trust out of Jack Zhang just yet because that is the last thing he needs.
1 out in the top of the first. 1-0 now for Charlotte off of an RBI by Cody Gunderson. Noah Furch now up, the right fielder for the 49ers. As Jack Zhang now has someone at first, it's Gunderson, who got the RBI hit. 1-0 off of 1 hit for Charlotte so far, and an error at first. That one's hit foul for strike number 1 for Furch.
10 RBI here for Furch this season. 17 strikeouts, though, as well, so you have to think Jack Zhang is going to put it on the black and try and just get him to swing at anything along the edges of the strike zone.
Furch so far, 14 hits and 17 strikeouts, 0-1 count for Jack Zhang. As he tries to get out of the inning, 49ers have struck early. That one's hit foul for strike number 2.
Seen a lot of this season for Furch, so we'll have to see whether he takes 1 or 2 or if he just tries to protect the zone here.
0-2 count for Jack Zhang now, trying to get his second out of the inning. First one was Jonathan Schwerb at third, thrown to first, which kept the runner off at second. But Chandler Riley scored earlier off of an error. 0-2 for Jack Zhang. He sends that one in, and it's outside for ball number 1. Fans express their displeasure.
Furch perhaps getting away with 1 there, but he'll take it out of the way. 1-2 counts a lot easier to deal with than 0-2.
Furch has 1 double so far, has 3 home runs as well. So definitely one of the power hitters for the 49ers. 1-2 count for Jack Zhang as he'll set up for the pitch. That one's sent in, swung on and missed for strikeout number 1 for Jack Zhang's career as a Mountaineer, and 2 outs in the top of the first.
And now all he has to do is just get 1 more out, and he'll be through this frame without too many problems. 18 strikeouts now for Furch's season.
He has to get through Carson Bain.
And for Carson Bain, big drop-off in terms of batting average this year, a .05 drop, in fact.
Batting .224 so far, .333 on-base percentage. 2 outs for Jack Zhang. Still at first is a runner. That one is in there for strike number 1.
And we're seeing Jack Zhang attack the strike zone, perhaps to his own detriment, but very aggressive, and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. He's got confidence.
1-0 lead for the 49ers. Leading off is Gunderson at first. 0-1 count for Jack Zhang. He looks back towards first, now sends to the pitch. That one swung on and missed for strike number 2.
And we're also seeing a very large gap in the shortstop and second baseman. We're going to have to see if Bain tries to exploit that or if the Mountaineers can use that against him.
Zamora at second, Lichtenberger at shortstop. Juan Correa at first. Jack Zhang sends in the 0-2. That one's down the middle for strike number 3, and Jack Zhang gets out of the inning.
That is exactly what the Mountaineers needed. That's exactly what Jack Zhang needed. And now only a 1-run deficit. The Mountaineers have a very high-powered offense. They'll get through this.
So Charlotte leads 1-0 off of 1 hit and 1 error by the Mountaineers. When we return, the Mountaineer bats will return as we head to the bottom of the first here on 90.5 WASU YouTube. We welcome you back to Beaver Field here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium as the App State Mountaineers are down 1-0 against the Charlotte 49ers after a hit and an error at first base by Juan Correa. Now the Mountaineer bats start after Jack Zane was able to get out of the inning with 2 strikeouts. And the pitcher for Charlotte, Wesley Jones, will face Dylan Moquin starting for the Mountaineers in the first spot. Wesley Jones made 2 appearances his freshman year. His debut was at Winthrop, April 23rd of last year. And he's pitched 1 inning so far versus Old Dominion.
We'll have to wonder how Wesley Jones handles this. A very hot top of the lineup. Everybody batting over 300.
Dylan Moquin, the lefty for the Mountaineers, starting today. Bats .394, .556 on base percentage, so he gets on base about 50% of the time. First pitch by Wesley is low for ball number 1.
And it's a good eye there from Moquin. We can see why his batting percentage and on-base percentage are so high.
Wesley so far 1 strikeout he had versus the 1 inning he played against Old Dominion. Second pitch in there, and it's high for ball number 2.
We're seeing quite a different approach from Wesley Jones here compared to Jack Zang, kind of avoiding the strike zone at the hot top of the lineup.
2-0 count for Jones. 2-0 pitch, that one inside for ball number 3.
Already a 3-0 count. If I'm Moquin, I'm not even considering swinging no matter where this ball is placed.
Moquin ahead in the count, 3-0, the right fielder. So far has 13 hits on the year. Jones sets up, taking his time on the 3-0 count, sends that one in. Moquin doesn't swing, and it's inside and low for ball number 4, and Moquin will walk.
A 4-0 walk is not what you want for Wesley Jones. Owns both pitchers, a bit of inexperience, but you're going to see this a lot as the game goes on, and that's just an element of adjusting to the level for both pitchers.
And that'll send in Joseph Zamora for the Mountaineers, the second baseman. So far on the air, 51 at-bats, 17 hits, 7 strikeouts against him, has walked 11 times, has 1 triple, 1 home run, batting .333 with a .452 on-base percentage. And he'll face Wesley Jones now with Moquin on first after a walk. Charlotte still leads 1-0 after the top of the first inning. Jones will send it back for a little pickoff attempt against Moquin. However, he wasn't sleeping.
And for Moquin, if he's going to be checking them like that, they're going to tire out Wesley Jones a lot more quickly.
Jones still yet to give a pitch to Zamora, who's a lefty for the Mountaineers. Sets up now for the pitch. Goes back again towards Moquin, and once again, Moquin was ready for it. Remains safe at first.
You can just tell that Wesley Jones is a bit paranoid of the top of the lineup, and we'll have to see if the cleanup hitters exploit that.
It's around 60 degrees here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium. Wind has slowed down a bit as finally Jones sends in the first pitch to Zamora, and it's going to be ball number 1 as Zamora looked like he was going to bunt and then sent it back.
Good check swing there from Zamora, and you have to think as well, if Wesley Jones doesn't start finding the strike zone soon, it could get dangerous.
Jones had 2 hits against him against Old Dominion on February 21st. Now faces Zamora, 1-0 count. Moquin at first, sends in the pitch. That one's hit back and towards the net, but it hits the little metal polling area that was holding the net up. That would have been right towards us, Michael.
Yeah, I was ready to move, but alas, we are quite well protected by that net, or so we hope.
The foul ball results in a 1-1 count for Zamora now. Still no outs, Moquin at first. Gunderson guarding first in case Jones tries to pick off again. He sends in the pitch on the 1-1. It's swung on and missed by Zamora.
Quite a late swing, too. Have to wonder if he was considering just letting it go.
Zamora so far, .452 on-base percentage. 11 walks for the Mountaineers. Struck out 7 times. Now faces a 1-2 count against Wesley Jones. Jones sends in the 1-2. That one's inside, and Moquin's going to run after a botched catch by the catcher, and he slides in there for a steal. What a nice job there by Dylan Moquin. After Poteet dropped the ball, he'll make it to second safely.
And that was a bit of an errant throw, too. That could have gotten even worse for the 49ers, but good job by the second baseman to control it.
Riley, the second baseman. Poteet dropped the ball. Moquin ran, and in a close play, managed to make it to second off of a stolen base. 2-2 count now for Joseph Zamora. That ball was called. And now Wesley Jones focuses on Zamora. Here comes the 2-2. Swung on and missed by Zamora for strike number 3.
And Wesley Jones really needed that because now you have one out in the inning, and after that drop ball from Poteet, confidence is huge for a pitcher, and that could have been a huge, huge hit for the 49ers. Apologies.
Moquin able to advance the second off of a wild pitch, and now John Kramer will come up for the Mountaineers. Batting .314, .439 on-base percentage. 16 hits so far this year. That first pitch is down low for ball number 1.
And again, just not finding the strike zone here, Wesley Jones. And in terms of pitch count, it's very much going to cost him.
1-0 count for John Kramer. 49ers still up 1-0 off of a run in the top of the first. Now in the bottom of the first, still one out for the Mountaineers. John Kramer hits that one foul. Count 1-1.
Not seeing a whole lot of life out of the Mountaineer bats, and we're not seeing a whole lot out of the Charlotte bats either compared to usual games for both teams.
Ones across the board. Moquin leading off for the Mountaineers at second. It's followed closely behind by Marinac. 1-1 pitches in there and swung on and missed by John Kramer.
You see a lot of these hardy cuts from Kramer, and he knows he can get those home runs when he wants them. So we'll have to expect more of the same from the outfielder.
1-2 count for Kramer. Jones focused on the batter right now. Now looks back towards second where Moquin is. No one on the bag for Charlotte. Sends in the 1-2. That one swung on and missed by Kramer for strike number 3. And Wesley Jones gets 2 strikeouts in a row against the Mountaineer top of the lineup.
And considering their high averages, I think Jones has to be feeling pretty good after that. But he can't relax now with Juan Correa coming up.
Juan Correa, the home run king for the Mountaineers, right now has 7 already on the year, 16th in the NCAA in home runs total. Now faces Wesley Jones, who looks back towards Moquin, back to focus on Correa. 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Correa up to bat the righty. Batting .333, sends in the pitch, swung on and missed by Correa for strike number 1.
You could tell from all the balls that were thrown, Juan Correa was looking for that home run ball already. And you have to wonder if later in the game he might get it.
Wesley Jones went to Charlotte Christian High School, where he was a 2-time state champion for them. The 0-1 pitch is a little outside for ball number 1.
So far, just again, not really finding the strike zone here, and it could end with an early ending for Wesley Jones' game.
1-1 count for Juan Correa, 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Wesley Jones, paying no mind to Moquin, sends in the pitch for ball number 2.
We're seeing the infield shifted quite a lot to our left as well.
2-1 count for Juan Correa with 2 outs. Correa so far, 66 at bats with 22 hits and 22 strikeouts. 2-1 by Wesley Jones. That one swung on and missed by Correa for strike number 2. Looks like he might have gotten a piece of it there.
With the 2-2 count, having struck out the last 2 batters, I don't think this next pitch is going to be anywhere near the strike zone. I would be absolutely surprised.
Now it's 2s across the board. Umpire looking for some new balls. Juan Correa gets some time to think about this next pitch, and so does Wesley Jones, who's trying to get out of the first inning and retain the Charlotte lead. Juan Correa played summer ball earlier last year. Now comes to the Mountaineers to bring his talents. 2-2 count for Correa. Wesley Jones sends the pitch in, and that's low for ball number 3, full count.
Full count with the power hitter on. You have to wonder if the thought of an intentional walk is on the cards here, and potentially to get all the force outs available to you.
Full count for Juan Correa. Trying to get the Mountaineer bats going. Still have 0 hits in the bottom of the first. Full count pitch. That one swung on towards first base. A diving catch by Gunderson, however, is able to get the out and get the 49ers out of the inning.
And that is a very impressive play from Cody Gunderson. You don't see that every single day, do you?
So a grounding, diving play by Gunderson is able to get the 49ers out of the inning and leave 1 on base No hits for the Mountaineers. They're still scoreless as Charlotte leads 1-0. When we return, Michael Santiago will take over on play-by-play for the second and third inning.
We are back in the high country with more Mountaineers baseball, and we've already had a pitching change with Luke Oblin, the freshman right-hander, coming on to replace Jack Zhang. And up to bat for the Charlotte 49ers, it's the designated hitter, Thad Ector.
Yeah, and Luke Oblin making his first appearance for the Mountaineers, Michael. Has yet to play a game for them. The freshman from DePaul College Prep.
Oblin set, now the pitch. And it's strike one already. Oblin off. He's got to keep Ector at a distance here with the 389 average on the season. Oblin set. The 0-1. Strike two already.
And Luke Oblin ranked the 4th best pitcher in Illinois in high school, Michael. And he's showing it right now with an 0-2 count against his starting hitter.
Oblin kicks, now the pitch. And it's strike three already. Some momentum coming for the Mountaineers here already. And up next now, we are going to see Logan Poteet, the catcher, coming up to bat for the Charlotte 49ers, the red shirt sophomore. Now the 0-0. Just off the plate, it's ball one.
Yeah, and Poteet, transfer from Vanderbilt, Michael, the historic program as part of the SEC, takes his talents to the 49ers.
Oh, when pitches isn't now the 2-0. Strike zone just not being found for any of these pitchers so far.
Well, he's pitching him a little inside right now, Michael, and that's been the difference. Umps have a tight strike zone.
Ball's up. Third baseman's got it, and it's an easy out so far. Fielders have been having a good day other than the error or the two errors that we have seen so far.
Yeah, that was Schwerb on the play there, Michael, able to get the bouncing ball off of the turf. That's the difference between Jim and Betty Smith Stadium and somewhere like, we'll say Tropicana Field, where even the clay is turf here, and sometimes those balls bounce.
Ball's hit, right over the third base again, and another easy out, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for your Mountaineers.
And a nice job there once again by Schwerb. 2 bouncing balls towards him, a high bounce. He called off the shortstop, Lichtenberger, to make the play. And Schwerb, with 2 outs, gets the Mountaineers out of the inning.
We will be back for the bottom of the second just after this. We are back in the high country. Wesley Jones still pitching for the 49ers, and up to bat now it's the superstar freshman Tyler Lichtenberger.
Yeah, and Lichtenberger, one of those pickups for the Mountaineers, along with Riley Luft, who just has shown out for the Mountaineers and been part of that new young talent to replace some of the veterans who left last year.
Jones kicks, now the pitch. Dropped by Poteet, but it was swung on anyway, strike 1.
And Lichtenberger kind of reached for that one. It sort of curved in on him. That's why he was unable to make the hit for the strike.
Jones is ready, looks down Lichtenberger. Here comes the pitch. And just inside, edge strike 2.
And that time Lichtenberger just did not see that one coming. He swung on the first one. It was about the same pitch. That's the same way he started Moquin.
Jones kicks, and strike 3. And as of right now, the top of the Mountaineers lineup is just not getting the job done. But now they'll have to count on their cleanup hitter to get the job done. And that cleanup hitter is Tyler Figueroa.
And Figueroa, part of that mid-range of the Mountaineer lineup, batting 7th today.
Good shot over to left field, but it's also foul. So far, the Mountaineers kept off base. And we will just have to see how Wesley Jones continues here, and he is looking down Figueroa. Jones set the pitch. And quite high, but give it as a strike for Wesley Jones, and it's now strike 2.
Yeah, that one, I agree with the call. It was well within the strike range there for Figueroa.
Jones kicks, now the pitch. High, but given as a ball this time. Wesley Jones, 1-2 count to Tyler Figueroa.
And that one, Michael, just a little outside for Figueroa. That's why the ump called it a ball that time. And he'll have to try and stay alive here.
Jones kicks, now the pitch. That one not foul. Count still 1-2.
That's exactly what I meant by staying alive. It's exactly what he did while hitting for Siena.
Very much protecting the plate here, Figueroa. Jones set the pitch. And that one, and not quite high. We got a pop up here. And Gunderson's under it. Gunderson's got it. And that will do in the Mountaineer attack for right now, as number 27, Braxton Church, will get ready to come up. Wait, we got a change here.
No, it's correct. Jonathan Schwerub coming up 7th in the lineup for the Mountaineers.
Schwerub's fielding's been very good, but let's see how his hitting is. And Jones set. Knocked foul for strike one.
And Schwerub, one of those players who started earlier against Queens College, didn't see a lot of action, then started again as a pinch hitter for Wake Forest in that game, and now, once again, starting for the Mountaineers.
Jones looks towards the plate, kicks and deals. Breaking ball down in the zone, and that is ball one. Jones ready again. The 1-1. Swung on, another foul ball, and that brings us to a 1-2 count.
Yeah, that just shows you the power of Schwerub. Unfortunately, for right now, unable to position the ball in play as he faces a 1-2.
Jones set the pitch. Pitch is down, but only a ball called here, and the fans seem quite excited about that.
Yeah, that one was a little low. Brings two across the board for Schwerub.
Jones set. Another ball, and it's now 3-2 for Jones. And let's see if he can get at Schwerub out.
Yeah, and Jones seemed to be rushing there, just a little outside. Ball got away from him, unable to put in the strike zone, full count.
Jones kicks, counts full, and he walks Schwerub here. And so far, not many walks to be given, but Schwerub has a good eye, and that gets him on base there.
Well, and so far, walks are the only way, Michael, that the Mountaineers have been able to get on base. Dylan Moquin in the bottom of the first was able to walk, and now Schwerub gets on first that way as well.
And we will have to watch and see if that becomes a running theme or if that's just a one-off. And up next now is Braxton Church. Jones looks the lefty down, a quick look over the first. Jones deals the pitch, and it's up for ball one.
A little high there. Once again, tight strike zones for the umpires here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium.
Jones ready. Quick look over the first again. Jones pitches. Ball's up for a foul ball, and that is quite the towering one. A lot of fans in the stadium having to watch their heads for that one.
Yeah, that one went all the way back towards the roof of the athletic facility here and back towards the new windmills they've been building.
No time to focus on that now, though. Quick look over the first, the pickoff attempt, and Schwerub is back just fine.
And that's his third pickoff attempt, Michael, in just 2 innings. Has really liked trying to catch any runner at first off guard. He did it to Moquin earlier.
Jones ready to pitch. Bunt attempt, but it pulls it back, and that is a ball for a 2-1 count so far.
That was a good eye there by Braxton. Able to keep it away out of the strike zone and taking the bunt away to be ahead in the count.
As you said, a good eye by him. Jones is set again. Here comes 2-1. Outside again, and it's a 3-1 count.
This is what we see from Wesley Jones, where pitches a few balls outside, goes for a pickoff attempt, and the balls just seem to get away from him sometimes here.
A lot of breaking pitches as well that Wesley Jones is using. We'll see if he goes back to that well or if he goes for a fastball here. And a heater, strike 2.
And that was the fastball you were talking about, Michael. Catches Braxton off guard, and he swings and misses on that one to make the count full.
An interesting approach so far for Wesley Jones. Count's now full, 2 outs. Let's see if Jones gets out of this one. The pitch comes and is given as a strike. The 49ers get out of the inning unscathed with the runner stranded.
Yeah, and once again, caught looking for the Mountaineers after Wesley Jones catches him off guard with the heat after a couple of breaking balls.
The score is 1-0. 49ers lead it. No runs, no hits, and no errors in the inning, and only 1 walk for the Mountaineers. We are back with more high country baseball, and we have another pitching change report as Luke Oblin has been taken out for Zach Lewis, the redshirt junior from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And up to bat is Caleb Estes. Lewis is set, empty count, and a bunt attempt. Estes gets it. Will he get the first base? No, he will not. Good catch there by Juan Correa, making up for his earlier error. And Zach Lewis with a good throw to help complement it.
Yeah, and a nice job there by Lewis, not being caught off guard by the bunt, Michael. And he was able to get the first out of the game. Mountaineers have been able to keep the Charlotte Bats quiet ever since that first hit in the first inning.
And back up is the leadoff hitter, Chandler Riley, who scored the only run of the game earlier. Let's see how Zach Lewis approaches this. Lewis kicks. And just on the corner there to the left, it is ball 1.
Yeah, and a little outside there for Lewis. Still trying to probably get warmed up a little bit.
Yeah, not much time between these changes. Lewis is set. Pitch, giving us a strike there, 1-1 count.
And a good recovery there by Zach. He basically put it in the same position, however, a little more inside, and able to get the strike on that one.
Definitely a game plan, it seems like, to pitch to that side. And almost right down the middle there for strike 2.
And it's interesting here, Michael. Shortstop Lichtenberger is all the way past second base on the shift here, facing the lefty batter.
They're not counting on him going to left field. And Chandler Riley hits into the shift there, and that is a nice and easy out for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and that was Joseph Zamora on the play. A very nice job there for the easy ground out. That's exactly why you shift on those left-handed batters. Unless they get a lucky hit, it's most likely going towards right.
And up now for the 49ers, the hot bat of the sophomore Dawson Bryce. Lewis set. And he'll go ahead and pitch here. And that's to the left side, to the inside. And that is ball one.
Yeah, now facing a righty. Now his outside balls are inside as he tries to get out of this inning early for the Mountaineers.
That one quite low on the breaking pitch, and that is ball two. Still 2 outs in the inning for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, it went into the turf there off of the breaking ball. He was trying to get Dawson Bryce to swing on that one.
The fish did not bite, however, but Lewis is set for the next pitch. And that was the heater straight down the middle. Bryce could have gotten a hold of that one, but alas, it is strike one.
Yeah, he goes right back to the fastball after the breaking ball into the turf.
Lewis kicks the 2-1, and it's hit right down the middle, but a good play there at second base, and that will take your Mountaineers out of the inning. When we go back to the 4th inning, it'll be Jordan Luker at play-by-play, but we will be here for the bottom of the 3rd quite soon enough. We are back with more Mountaineers baseball. We are in the bottom of the 3rd. Wesley Jones still on the mound. And up next is Graham Smiley, the redshirt sophomore, the transfer from NC State.
And Graham Smiley, one of those players that sort of switches with catcher with Braxton Church. Today, however, Michael, playing at catcher.
Jones kicks the pitch, and that's down for ball one.
And with that, it puts Braxton Church in the designated hitter spot. They did this last year as well, Michael, where they sort of switched between the two at catcher and designated hitter. Church has also played right field.
And a foul ball there to get strike one out of Graham Smiley. And Wesley Jones off to a pretty high pitch count already, despite the fact that there's no runs on the board. Jones is set, now the pitch. And that one is hit pretty hard, but still a foul ball, and that brings it to strike two, 1-2 count here to Graham Smiley.
Yeah, and we've seen that already earlier today where the Mountaineer batter is able to make contact there. This time it's Graham Smiley, and it just goes a little out of play.
Jones kicks, now the pitch. And he is caught looking for strike three, and the Mountaineers have one out on the inning.
Yeah, just a little outside there. Graham Smiley didn't like the pitch, however, gets struck out. And we'll come back to the top of the lineup.
And that brings up the hot bat, Ed of Moquin. As we saw, he got the walk to lead off the game. Jones is set, now the pitch. And that's inside. That's ball one.
And Moquin earlier, Michael, had the walk, so is no stranger to looking for his pitch, or he's perfectly happy with walking. He's already walked 8 times this year.
Jones pitches again. That is also outside, and that is ball 2. That one to the outside that time. And to the other side, first pitch being inside. Jones pitches again. Looks again, and that is ball 3 low.
Yeah, and Moquin, one of those players, Michael, who's just able to rack up the count. And now he's ahead 3-0. Would be really surprised if he swung here.
Jones set the 3-0. And he's hit by the pitch here.
Yeah, he'll get the walk anyway. However, that will go down as a hit by pitch.
Yeah, that's certainly not how you expect to get your base on balls, but Moquin will take the base either way. And now that brings up Joseph Zamora, also quite hot at swinging on the year with 17 hits to his name.
And Zamora so far today, Michael, struck out earlier. And now he tries to get a little redemption against Wesley Jones.
Jones set the 0-0, and that is outside for ball 1. We are seeing a trend of this across many batters.
Yeah, and that'll be the 5th ball in a row if you don't count the hit by pitch against Moquin. And now catcher Poteet will have a little conversation with Wesley Jones.
And Zamora, he struck out earlier against Wesley Jones. Seeing the hit by pitch and the walk from Moquin, we'll have to see if his approach changes somewhat from swinging to looking at a lot more pitches.
Poteet's going to end the conversation there, or more likely than not, the umpire has to end it, as they always seem to do.
The catcher's social hour has ended, and we are ready to go on once more. Wesley Jones looking down Zamora here. Looks over the first. Perhaps he's quite paranoid of Moquin getting a steal, but Moquin is back easily.
Well, Moquin was able to get a steal earlier off of a wild pitch in the bottom of the first. And that's Jones' 4th pickoff attempt of his pitching here in the 3rd inning.
Jones set now the 1-0. And that is a line out right there. Gunderson right on that, and that will end the inning.
That's just an unfortunate situation there. Gunderson able to get the low line drive and then go to first to get the out. And the double play.
And as far as I am concerned, that is just a straight robbery. We will go to the top of the 4th, and we will be right back with more Mountaineers baseball.
Back here for more Mountaineer baseball at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium on a beautiful day here in Boone, North Carolina. A good crowd showing today despite the spring break. And once again, the Mountaineers will have a pitching change with Jake Beatty. He will face Cody Gunderson, the first baseman.
And Gunderson, as we saw, he's been making plays this whole game so far, and we'll have to see if his little hot streak continues.
Gunderson in the first had a single. And now the junior will face Beatty in his first pitch. He tried to throw a little sinker there, however, it ends up way high for ball number 1.
And seemed like that one just kind of got away from him, perhaps.
1-0 count. Beatty making no waste of time, and he'll send one in for strike number 1 down the middle.
Definitely looks like Gunderson was caught off guard. He wasn't quite ready for that pitch.
Gunderson so far, 342 average, 500 on base percentage. 1-1 pitch is swung on, and odds fair actually towards left field. John Kramer wasn't ready for it, and Gunderson's going to be able to get to second on a double.
And that is his second hit of the game. Of course, he had the RBI earlier to bring in Chandler Riley. And the hot streak for Gunderson very much continuing here.
And a nice job there by Gunderson. No Mountaineers ready for that. Schwerab thought it was going to go foul, didn't chase it, and ended up landing in left field, and John Kramer was just as surprised. And that gets Gunderson on second. That'll bring up Noah Furch now, the senior, for the 49ers with Gunderson on second. I keep thinking of Gunnar Henderson. But Gunderson will be on second. Pitch by Beatty in there for strike number 1.
And other than that hit, Beatty's been finding the strike zone quite well. And with the constant changing of pitchers, the 49ers not having time to settle in and adjust to one pitcher.
Gunderson on second. Beatty looks back towards him, sends in the 0-1. That one swung on and missed for strike number 2.
And that was quite the hardy cut from Noah Furch with 3 home runs on the year. He was looking to get number 4 right there.
Furch struck out in the first. So far batting .286, .368 on base percentage, 14 hits and 49 at bats. 0-2 for Beatty. He looks back towards Gunderson, sends in the pitch. That one swung on and missed for strike number 3, and Beatty will get the strikeout.
And so far, we're seeing a lot out of either hits or strikeouts for the 49ers, but there's been a swing and ask questions later approach from them, and this time it bites them.
49ers still lead 1-0 against the Mountaineers off of 1 hit in the first and 1 error in the first by first baseman Juan Correa.
That brings up now Carson Bain.
The senior coming up to bat, outfield. Beatty sends that one in. That one swung on foul, back out of play for strike number 1.
And Carson Bain perhaps protecting the plate and trying to get his 21st RBI of the season.
Bain struck out in the first. Now faces a different pitcher in the second. 50 at bats, only 11 hits, .220 batting average. Has struck out 15 times so far in the year. 1 out in the top of the 4th. That one's way outside and high for ball number 1. It's 1-1.
And right there, you just saw him had to go chase that one and make sure it stayed down on for him and make sure it stayed under control.
Beatty so far has pitched 7 innings for the Mountaineers. This is his 8th. That one swung on and foul out of play for strike number 2 against Bain.
And for Bain so far, he's looking to avoid that 16th strikeout. And his bat has been a bit cold this year compared to last, so we will just have to wait and see how he approaches this next pitch.
Beatty has been a strong reliever for the Mountaineers. 7 strikeouts so far. And his 7th inning pitch looking for number 9 against Bain. And that one's outside for ball number 2.
We are seeing a lot of outside pitches. Every pitcher that's played today has been looking to get every batter they can fishing.
2-2 count with 1 out in the top of the 4th. Beatty sets up, looks back towards second on Gunderson, sends in the pitch. That one's way inside. It almost hits Bain. However, he's able to dodge out of the way. The count's now full.
And that's perhaps a bit of mind games from Beatty just to remind Carson Bain that he is the one that runs this at-bat.
Full count for Beatty against Carson Bain, the senior. Bain so far has struck out And now Beatty will try and get him, looks back towards Gunderson, sends in the pitch, that swung on and missed inside for strikeout number 2.
The Fish took the bait on that breaking pitch, and that was a beautiful one from Beatty. Just unfurled it and watched it go.
A beautiful breaking curveball by Jake Beatty. Gets Bain to swing and gets the second strikeout, trying to get out of the inning with no damage, as Gunderson is still on second from his double earlier. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Beatty's now faces Thad Ector, the senior outfielder. Looks back towards second, now sets up for the pitch. That's swung on towards center field. Tyler Figueroa is going to have to run for it, and it drops down, and Gunderson's going to be able to score. 3 Mountaineers were on that, and they were unable to get to it.
It just looks like there's a lot of miscommunication, and when that ball was coming back in from the outfield, that one got bobbled as well, and I think it was lucky to only be an RBI single.
Thad Ector with the single in center field as 3 Mountaineers were unable to communicate and come up with the out. So 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Now 2-0 49er lead off of 3 hits and 1 error for the Mountaineers. And Jake Beatty trying to get out of the inning, facing Logan Poteet, the catcher. Looks back towards Ector at first, now sends in the pitch. That one's down the middle of King Street for strike number 1.
Yeah, so far just complete lack of communication for the Mountaineers, and they're going to have to address that if they want any chance of winning this game.
Figueroa making a start in center field, usually plays third, however that's Schwerb. 0-1 count, swung on, foul for strike number 2.
In an 0-2 count, Beatty can get out of this one pretty soon with one more good pitch.
0-2 count. 49ers scored run so far in the top of the 4th. Thad Ector still at first. Juan Correa on the bag, guarding it. Beatty sends in the 0-2. That one's low and inside for ball number 1.
And Poteet's got a bit of a baseball heritage. His father, Gary, also played baseball at Cleveland State.
Poteet in the first inning, grounded out to third from Jonathan Schwerb. 1-2 count now against Beatty. Trying to get out of the inning with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Looks towards Thad Ector. Now focuses in. That one swung on towards third. Schwerb unable to make the grab, and neither is Lichtenberger. And Thad Ector is going to be able to get to third off of a base hit. We'll have to see if they'll call it an error for Schwerb from Logan Poteet. And we'll wait on the scoring here.
And it gets called as a base hit.
But now runners at the corners. And Jake Beatty still able to get out of the inning after a nice hit there by Logan Poteet. Gets Thad Ector on third after Schwerb sort of slid for the ball into the turf, missed it, and then Lichtenberger also couldn't come up with it at short. Runners at the corners now. Thad Ector at third, Logan Poteet at first. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Charlotte leads 2-0 with 4 hits. Beatty sends in the pitch against Marinac, and it's in there for strike number 1.
And Marinac, the 2024 D3 NCAA Player of the Year, but so far has struggled to adjust to the level.
Marinac batting 167, as Michael just said, struggling a little bit for the 49ers. Beatty sends back a pickoff towards first and Logan Poteet, but he's able to dive back and be safe.
Perhaps taking a page out of Wesley Jones' book so far.
Marinac so far 48 at-bats with 8 hits. 7 walks, has struck out 17 times as Beatty sends that one in. It's swung on towards shortstop, and Lichtenberger able to make the easy play at second. It's bobbled a little bit by Zamora, but he holds on to get the Mountaineers out of the 4th inning.
And so far, App State still does not have a hit. Wesley Jones' no-hitter is still on.
1 run, 2 hits for Charlotte as the Mountaineers now down 2-0, but we'll be back as the Mountaineer bats try and get going in the bottom of the 4th. We welcome you back to Mountaineer Baseball here at Beaver Field in Boone, North Carolina. It's getting a little chilly at night, and now we have a pitching change for the 49ers. Coming in, number 40, Mike Sturma. Michael, you have more on him.
Yes, he has given up 10 runs in his last 2 outings, so a bit of a rocky road so far for Sturma, but he does have a win on the season, and this is his first appearance in relief, so let's see how he adjusts as to the different role compared to his 3 starts this season.
Sturma will face John Kramer, the lefty for the Mountaineers, batting third today, the left fielder. 2-0, 2-0 Charlotte 49er lead. First pitch is swung on by Kramer, and that's hit up and out of play. However, trying to get under it is the third baseman. However, it hits the roof of the athletic training facility. Bryce tried to get under it, however, was unable to come up on it, and that'll make the count.
No, wait, he did get it.
He did get it. Excuse me. It was hard to see as the ball was sort of out of my eyes. So John Kramer will be out off of a fly ball, and that'll bring in Juan Correa, who struck out earlier in the first. 2-0 lead for the 49ers off of 4 hits and 1 Mountaineer error. Sturma now with already 1 out. Juan Correa swings and misses on that one for strike number 1.
And that was a hearty cut. Howdy if you're waving at me.
1 out already in the bottom of the 4th for John Kramer. And now Correa's up again. He swings and misses for strike number 2.
And an 0-2 count here for Sturma. And we will have to see how he adjusts to relieving. And so far, it looks like he is taking it quite well. 7 strikeouts on his season.
0-2 count for Correa. That one's outside for ball number 1.
Perhaps trying to get him fishing there, looking for strikeout number 8.
Correa so far this year has as many hits as he does strikeouts, as he'll face the 1-2 count with 1 out. Sturma sends in the pitch, and that's bounces for ball number 2 into the turf. Would have hit Correa if it didn't bounce.
I was just going to say, I thought that one had got him from up here, but it bounces, and of course, it's a 2-2 count.
2-2 count for Juan Correa, as Michael just said. Mountaineers still trying to get the bats going, as Sturma will send in the pitch. That one swung on and missed by Correa for strike number 3, and we're now 2 outs into the bottom of the 4th.
The search tool was open, but the ball was not found.
And that'll bring up once again the freshman Tyler Lichtenberger for the Mountaineers, the kid who went to West Boca Raton. And he'll face now the lefty, or excuse me, the righty Mike Sturma. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Now Sturma trying to get out of it after already having a strikeout against Correa. That one is a little low for ball number 1.
And he puts some heat behind that, but no answer there from Lichtenberger.
And Lichtenberger went to West Boca Raton High School, played there, now comes to the Mountaineers. That second one is into the turf again for ball number 2, and now looks like we'll change the balls as the umpire will give catcher Poteet a new one.
That's quite the bouncy one there. 2-0 count. Let's see how Sturma adjusts.
Lichtenberger earlier today struck out in the 2nd. And now trying to get anything for the Mountaineers going, who still have yet to get a hit. Sturma sends that one in. That one's hit by Lichtenberger. However, it's way foul towards the yard. And a fan will get a souvenir there. 2-1 count.
And that was quite the power shot there, but just unable to keep it in play.
It's been the story so far for the Mountaineers. Able to make contact, however, Lady Luck has played a role in making them unable to get a hit. 2-1 count now for Lichtenberger, as Sturma will set up for the pitch. No runners on base. 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. That one swung on again by Lichtenberger. Foul. Count remains, or excuse me, count becomes 2-2.
And with a 9.58 ERA on the season, a good outing here for Sturma would certainly help boost his confidence.
Pitched 11 innings so far. You know, ERA really doesn't mean a lot when you look at a pitcher wholly. He's allowed 15 hits so far, 11 earned runs, bringing his ERA to 9, counting what he's been doing now. 2-2 with 2 outs. That one swung on by Lichtenberger towards center field. Under it is Carson Bain, and he'll make the catch to get out of the inning for the 49ers.
And that was a great play by Carson Bain to be able to get back to that one. That is not as easy as he makes it look.
So eggs across the board for the Mountaineers. 0 hits with 0 runs. They're still down 2-0 against the Charlotte 49ers. We welcome you back to spring break Mountaineer baseball as it has started to cool down here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium. Temperature at about 50 to 49 degrees here now with a little bit of wind. Charlotte 49ers still lead 2-0 against the App State Mountaineers, who have another pitching change in Bradley Wilson. They've changed pitchers every inning. It's a bullpen game for the Mountaineers on the Tuesday. He'll face Caleb Estes, the junior. And that first pitch is outside for ball number 1 by Wilson.
And Wilson has 1 earned run or fewer in 8 outings so far. And we'll have to see if his hot streak continues and can help bring the Mountaineers back into this one.
That one's in there for strike number 1. 1-1 count now for Bradley Wilson. 2.25 ERA so far on the year. 1-1 record for the Mountaineers is pitched 16 innings and allowed 16 hits, 4 earned runs. 1-1 pitch, low and inside for ball number 2.
That one a bit of a roller there. Perhaps hoping to get on track to get that 18th strikeout of his season.
Caleb Estes, the transfer out of Maryland, and then went to Gaston Community College. 2-1 count for Bradley Wilson, swung on foul for strike number 2.
So far, 2-2 count for Wilson, and Estes not having the best season in terms of batting. We'll have to see if he can pick up some momentum here.
Estes batted .324 at Gaston Community College. 2-2 count is swung on foul. And the count remains 2-2. Estes so far batting .179, .281 on base percentage, and 28 at bats. Has 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 runs batted in, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. One of those hits was a double. 2-2 count. Bradley Wilson sends it in. That one swung on towards third base. Schwerb is on it, and he'll be able to make the play at first for Juan Correa.
And so far, Schwerb's been having a very good game in terms of fielding, even though that has not been the case for the Mountaineers as a whole.
And now Chandler Riley will come in back to the top of the lineup for the 49ers. So far having a great game. Got on by an error, grounded out in the top of the third. Was able to score for the 49ers as Bradley Wilson was set up for his first pitch. 1 out in the top of the 5th. That one's in there for strike number 1.
Chandler Riley, 13 hits on the year, and Certainly one of the players that was gone over during film discussion.
Riley also spent a year at Gaston Community College, also played 2 seasons at Campbell. 0-1 pitch by Bradley Wilson. Oh, I don't know about that one. Calls it outside for ball number 1.
And the fans are letting him hear it.
Good crowd showing despite it being spring break here for the Mountaineers. 1-1 count with 1 out. That one swung on right towards Bradley Wilson. However, shortstop Tyler Lichtenberger is able to get on it and make the out for out number 2 in the top of the 5th.
And that could have stung him in the ankle there, but Wilson does a good job to get his foot up and trust his infield to get the job done.
So 2 outs now in the top of the 5th for the Mountaineers, now facing Dawson Bryce, who so far has grounded out twice in both of his appearances, batting .321 and 2 at-bats. That one is strike number 1 as he swings and misses.
And quite the cut there. Looked like he was trying to cut a watermelon.
Dawson Bryce from Massachusetts. 0-1 pitch is a little low for ball number 1.
And Dawson Bryce, of course, we mentioned the sophomore, 5 RBIs. Let's see if he can get something moving here for them with 2 outs in the inning.
Was a 2-time first team in high school. That one's hit towards Schwerup, and he's going to be able to make the play at first to Juan Creas. The Mountaineers able to get a 3-up, 3-down early in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, in the 3-up, 3-down inning, that's exactly what the Mountaineers need right now. Keeping it to a 2-run game, that will give them a chance to get back into this more easily than usual.
So Bradley Wilson able to get the Mountaineers out of the inning with no runs and no hits for the 49ers. We will return as the Mountaineer bats still trying to get started as they're down 2-0. Back here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium for more Mountaineer baseball, getting a quick start now as Mike Sturmo will stay in at pitcher for the 49ers. He'll face Tyler Figueroa, the righty batter for the Mountaineers. From Colony, New York, the transfer from Siena. So far was put out by third base and that double play by first baseman Gunderson. And that one, first one is swung on foul for strike number 1.
And Figueroa, as we mentioned earlier, one of the top performers, so the Mountaineers will be counting on him to get a rally going.
Figueroa leads the Mountaineers in walks so far. 0-1 pitch is swung on towards shortstop. On it is the third baseman, Bryce, and he'll make the play at first to Gunderson, and he'll be called out.
Very much a bang-bang play there, but as you mentioned, the out was called, and that will bring up Jonathan and Schwerup.
So 1 quick out already for the 49ers. Mountaineer bats still kept quiet. They've gotten 2 walks, however, no hits so far. Still at the bottom of the 5th. 49ers lead 2-0 off of 4 hits and 1 Mountaineer error. Jonathan Schwerup now up for the Mountaineers, batting .333 so far in the year. That first one is swung on towards right field, but it's going to be foul for strike number 1.
Quite a bit of power on that, but Mountaineers just struggling to keep the ball in play, never mind, and getting hits on the board.
Mountaineers so far today 0-12 at the plate. 0-1 count with 1 out for Schwerup. That pitch is in there for strike number 2.
And it looks like it's going to be another quick out and maybe a 1-2-3 inning, though only time will tell.
Sturma's father played at Southern Connecticut State and also coached baseball for UConn over 20 years. 0-2 pitch for Jonathan Schwerb is outside for ball number 1.
And he was hoping to get Schwerb reaching there, but nothing doing.
1-2 count for Schwerb, 1 out. Mike Sturma comes from Connecticut. Also played at Southern Connecticut State, where his father played. 1-2 count now for Schwerb. That one swung on hard towards shortstop, and making the play on it is Marinac for out number 2.
And that was good play by Marinac to be able to range over and get that one. Just gunned him out with absolute precision.
And now with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, it's up to Braxton Church to try and get the Mountaineer bats going. Out of West Wilkes High School, has played every year here for the Mountaineers. The senior has been playing since 2022. Leads the Mountaineers in doubles. But so far today, struck out in the 2nd inning. Zeros on the board with 2 outs. Sturma sends that in, and it's swung on and missed by Braxton Church for strike number 1.
Sturma starting out another batter with strike 1. He has been on it today.
Sturma so far 1-0. Or excuse me, 0-1 against Braxton Church with 2 outs. Braxton Church bunts towards third, and that one's foul and out of play towards the third baseline.
That brings up strike 2. This could be another 1-2-3 inning for the 49ers, and they've been doing a very, very good job of keeping the Mountaineers off base.
0-2 count for Braxton Church. So far this year, batting .241, has struck out 13 times. That one is low for ball number 1, 1-2 count.
That one down in the dirt. Sturma definitely looking for the strikeout pitch, just couldn't get at the bite there.
And now Braxton Church, this time playing designated hitter for the Mountaineers. Mostly plays catchers, played a couple times in right field. And now faces the 1-2 count against Sturma. Sturma sets up for the pitch, no runners on base. That one's in there for strike number 3. And once again, the Mountaineers are hitless in the bottom of the 5th.
And that is just a strikeout specialist. Bread and butter right there. Nothing else to say about it.
Once again, eggs on the board for the Mountaineers. No runs, no hits. Still down 2-0 against the Charlotte 49ers. When we come back, Michael Santiago will take over once again on play-by-play.
And we are back with more high country baseball. The Mountaineers still down 2-0, but Bradley Wilson staying in, and he will face Cody Gunderson to start the top of the 6th inning.
And Bradley Wilson so far, the first pitcher in this game, Michael, to play more than 1 inning for the Mountaineers. And the Mountaineers putting their trust in one of their ace relievers here today.
Yeah, very much one of those midweek bullpen types of games. Rosenbag is down, and Bradley Wilson is ready to go. Wilson looks down Gunderson here. Here comes the pitch. It's down on inside for ball 1.
And Bradley Wilson throws a lot of them inside.
Here comes the pitch. That one fouled for strike 1, and a 1-1 count so far to Cody Gunderson.
But then, you know, he positions it right, Michael, and that's what we love to see out of our ace reliever, Bradley Wilson. So far, has a sub-3 ERA for the Mountaineers.
Wilson pitches, and that is hit foul for strike 2.
He's able to get them to swing a lot, and that's what you like to see, especially when they are unable to make contact. Wilson, one of those pitchers who either gets you to swing a strikeout or gets you in a putout in a tough situation in the infield.
And we'll have to see if he goes for the strikeout here with a 1-2 count. No one on. Here comes the pitch, and that's down. No bite, though. It counts 2-2.
Hey, tried to get him on the breaking ball there. Gunderson, however, doesn't take it. Having a great game so far, Michael, with a single and a double already.
Yeah, he's got a run. He's got an RBI as well. And we'll have to see if Wilson can cool him off. And that is outside, and that is a full count, 3-2 to Cody Gunderson. Wilson looks him down to 3-2, and that is fouled. Gunderson staying alive here.
Yeah, nice job there. Gunderson able to work the count here, Michael. Was down 0-2 at one point, but now puts Bradley Wilson in a tough situation.
And we'll see how Wilson approaches this next pitch to the junior. Here it comes, and that is down, and Gunderson will walk. In every appearance, he has gotten on base so far.
Yeah, just an unfortunate sequence there for Bradley Wilson. Was ahead in the count, Michael. However, unable to get the batter out. And now Gunderson will be at first.
And that brings up Noah Furch, the senior, who he's also had quite a good season. Though let's see if he can make something happen here. Wilson, the pitch, and that is hit. Double play ball, and there we are.
And a nice double play there by the Mountaineers. Bradley Wilson able to get the bouncing ball, throw it towards Lichtenberger, who made the play at first towards Juan Correa. And the Mountaineers doing a great job so far, Michael, in the fielding division after that error.
And that is certainly a crowd pleaser. We were able to hear it all the way from over here. And up will come Carson Bain. Now 2 down in the inning, and we'll have to see how he approaches this. Wilson set the pitch, and that's fouled for strike 1.
And now, Michael, you were really in a position where you didn't know what to do with a runner on second if that ball was able to get past Bradley Wilson. But now you have bases empty, and Bradley Wilson would be able to get out of this inning and put the Mountaineer bats back in play.
And there's a big shift to the left as we get strike 2 delivered from Bradley A. Wilson.
This is exactly the type of plays you want from your pitcher when the ball is hit your way. Sometimes the pitchers just kind of get out of the way, but Bradley Wilson putting his body on the line to make that double play earlier.
Wilson could put up a scoreless frame. Here comes the pitch, and that's popped into the ground. And a great play there, and that will get the Mountaineers out of the inning.
A nice play there by Lichtenberger. He was trying to get it on the bounce. However, he lost control of it a little bit in the turf, however, able to recover and make the out.
And that will mean we get 3 batters up, no one left, and the Mountaineers will go to the bottom of the sticks, still only down 2. We are back with more Mountaineers baseball. And up now for the Mountaineers is the catcher Graham Smiley. Mike Sturma still in the game. And we'll have to see if the Mountaineers can break their goose egg here.
Yeah, no hits so far for the Mountaineers, unlike what we've seen before, Michael.
And that is strike one to yet another batter for Mike Sturma.
And part of that has to do with the pitching, as we were talking about earlier in the inning.
Sturma reads the signal, the pitch, and that is hit foul for strike two.
And part of that, Michael, has been Sturma's ability and, who's the pitcher before him? Wesley Jones' ability to get the Mountaineers swinging. However, none of the hits have been in play.
Sturma's ready to pitch, and that swung on for strike three. Mike Sturma off to a really, really hot start. We mentioned earlier how he gave up 10 runs in his last two outings, and it looks like that is not happening today, not anywhere close.
This is exactly why, Michael, you don't look towards ERA as your biggest factor, as it can really, especially if you don't pitch a lot of innings, he's pitched only 12 so far, has already got it down to 7.82 for his ERA, and now 3 strikeouts on the day for Sturma.
Sturma the pitch to Moquin. That swung on again for strike one. And so far, Sturma has been very good at getting ahead in the count. Sturma sets. Now the 0-1, and that hits him.
And that's the second time Moquin's been hit by a pitch, Michael.
And a rare misstep here from Mike Sturma, and that will bring up now number 6, Joseph Zamora.
So now, Michael, we're in a situation where the only time the Mountaineers have gotten on base in 6 innings is through 2 walks and 2 hit by pitches. That's been it.
And it's all been from Dylan Moquin. So very much looking to the other Mountaineers get an answer here and get their first hit, because so far it's been a complete shutout and no-hitter for the Charlotte 49ers. Sturma the pickoff attempt, and Moquin's back with the slide.
Well, shades of Wesley Jones there as he tried to pick off 4 batters earlier, was unable to get any, however, kept them on their toes.
And the majority of it has been Moquin, so perhaps he has them worried at the earlier stolen base. And that one fouled. We're having to look down a little bit, and that is strike one, I believe.
Yeah, strike one there on the foul ball for Zamora. And that one went towards the announcer's booth. I hope the Charlotte announcers are okay. They're in the booth right next to us, Michael.
In any case, Sturma is ready and now delivers the 0-1. And that one hit. Finally, the first hit for the Mountaineers. Moquin, and turning on the Jets. Let's see if he goes around. He will not. And that is a slide to keep that one in from going any further there. Dawson Bryce bringing that. And that is an extra base hit for Joseph Zamora.
And an amazing hit there by Zamora in between Furch and Bain to get finally the first hit for the Mountaineers and puts both runners in scoring position, Michael.
And that is very much what we would label as a gapper. And that brings up the ever-dangerous John Kramer.
And finally, Mountaineers putting some pressure on the 49ers here. And boy, did it come in a big way. Joseph Zamora is just a clutch player for the Mountaineers, and now we're going to have a little conversation at the plate.
And this could get the Mountaineers back in the game. As we mentioned earlier, only being down 2. And now with 2 runners in scoring position, they could blow this game wide open.
Yeah, and only 1 out so far in the bottom of the 6th, Michael. Looks like Sturma will stay in for now. There's some action in the bullpen for the 49ers, however. So we'll probably be on a tight leash here if anyone scores. Moquin at 3rd.
And indeed, there's a right-hander warming up for them. And Mike Sturma is going to have to keep this one under control. The manager come out, and it looks like that's going to be all for Mike Sturma tonight.
Yeah, and here comes Coach Woodard out now. We'll have to see And it does look like there will be movement in the bullpen, Michael, for that right-handed pitcher you were talking about.
Indeed, but definitely not at a bad outing for Mike Sturma. We will just have to see who they go with now.
And we're still waiting on that, Michael. But while we do, we're going to take a quick break here on 90.5 WASU YouTube.
We welcome you back. We have a pitching change to report for the Charlotte 49ers. As we mentioned before going to break, it's the strikeout specialist Ed Wagner coming on. He had 123 strikeouts and 127.2 innings pitched for the State College of Florida, a 10-8 record as well. And John Kramer will get to be the first to face him.
Yeah, and so far having a great year, Michael. 3.38 ERA and 8 innings pitched, which is great to see. Has 6 hits against him, 10 strikeouts, however, which is a great strikeout ratio.
We'll have to see if Wagner can register yet another one here. Wagner set the pitch, and that is ball 1. Not a common sight for Mountaineers to start ahead in the count, but with Mike Sturma out, we'll have to see if that becomes a trend against Ed Wagner.
And I agree with this move by Woodard, trying to get out of the inning with 2 runners in scoring position.
And that was a hearty cut there. And that, no. And
The scoreboard is wrong.
It's a 1-1 count here. Sorry, we were a bit deceived. But Wagner ready to go. Kicks the pitch. And that swung on for strike 2.
And
1-2 count here to Kramer.
John Kramer having some struggles so far, along with the rest of the Mountaineer hitters, Michael. Struck out earlier and then flew out to a foul ball by the third baseman, Bryce.
Lineup's a bit cold, but let's see if it blows open, and that's strike 3. Ed Wagner with yet another strikeout to add to his tally.
So far, besides the Zamora hit, once again, Mountaineer bats able to stay quiet. And now Ed Wagner in a perfect position here, Michael, to save the inning for the 49ers as the Mountaineers are in a perfect position to score, however, with Juan Correa.
And a heavy shift over to the left side. We'll have to see how Juan Correa approaches this. Here comes the pitch, and that is fouled, and that is strike 1.
And this is the matchup we've been waiting for. Juan Correa, the home run king, versus the strikeout king, as you called him, Michael, in Ed Wagner.
Yeah, always exciting when you get one like this. Kind of reminds me of Randy Johnson versus David Ortiz. Wagner pitches and swung on. That is strike 2. And the 49ers are one pitch from getting out of 2 bases is on here. And now Wagner with a look back towards second. He will kick and deal. And that is down. That is ball 1.
And a good job there by Juan Correa to not swing on that one. Ed Wagner tried to get him with the inside to get him to swing.
And it's a 1-2 count to Correa now. Wagner's just going to have to move on from that one. Wagner's ready to pitch, and that swung foul. And Correa just staying alive here.
Great job there by Correa. Just had to make contact with that one. He knew that one was going to be a strike. He's able to stay alive here. He could possibly give the Mountaineers the lead here if he gets a home run. However, just looking for any contact, which has been the story so far.
And that's fouled yet again. Correa doing a good job of staying alive and protecting the plate here. We'll just have to see if he can keep on doing that or even blow this game open.
I mean, you're going to have to get a hit. You're 1-2 in the count so far, Michael. And that's what Juan Correa does. He makes contact for the Mountaineers in these tough situations.
Wagner set, and that is another strikeout for Ed Wagner. And the Mountaineers just unable to get it going no matter what they try. And it's yet another scoreless frame.
Yeah, and that's just an unfortunate situation there. Mountaineers in perfect position with Moquin in scoring position along with Joseph Zamora. But, Michael, we've seen some improvement there with the hit by Joseph Zamora. Finally gets the Mountaineers on the board besides their error.
And we'll be back at the top of the 7th with more Mountaineers baseball. And we welcome you back for more Mountaineers baseball, and Jordan Fisher is in the pitch for the Mountaineers. Of course, a disappointing bottom of the inning, and now Jordan Fisher will have to just get through this and keep the score right where it is for the Mountaineers. And he will be facing, Thad Ector.
Jordan Fisher, exactly one of those relievers you want for the Mountaineers, Michael. So far, 11 strikeouts on the year. Had a little bit of an off game against Wake Forest.
And no offer there, but is still strike one. Ector with over a .100 average increase from last season. We'll have to see if he can keep it going.
That Ector As you said, Michael, one of the great hitters so far for the 49ers, 400 on the year.
And that is strike one there. Ball one, sorry, to Thad Ector. And Jordan Fisher off to a decent start, but the Mountaineers need a bit more if they're going to win this one. Fisher set the pitch, and that one is swung on, hit hard. And that one gets down. Figueroa will get to it, but that is still a double here for Thad Ector.
And a great hit there by Thad Ector. The wind kind of carried that one, Michael, but he's able to get the double now for the Mountaineers.
A hit is a hit all the same, and Jordan Fisher will just have to go on to the next batter here, as that is the catcher, Logan Poteet.
And that's the mindset you have to have if you're Jordan Fisher, Michael. Just move on to the next batter. Don't pay any attention to Thad Ector at second. Just focus on the batter right now.
Got to have a short memory to be a good pitcher, and Fisher certainly is. 3 saves for the Mountaineers. Fisher, quick look to second. He throws, and that is strike one.
And that's exactly how you want to move on there, by throwing a strike right towards your next batter.
Fisher, no stranger to getting out of innings in tough situations.
And the Mountaineers be looking for that here, even if it's a situation he creates for himself. And that is swung on high, but foul. It's being chased, and it is caught. Thad Ector will tag up, and he will go to third. And now he's on the corner. Dangerous situation here for sure, but the Mountaineers will just have to hope that Fisher can get them out of this situation.
Well, that was a good play there by Dylan Moquin, and Thad Ector, a great heads-up play there. Even though the ball was foul, able to run to third and get in a better scoring position here for the 49ers. But Jordan Fisher, all he has to do is just focus on the batters, and Marinac up next.
Indeed, the 2024 NCAA Player of the Year for D3. We'll have to see how he handles things. Fisher set the 0-0. We see a bunt attempt, but he pulls back in time, and that is ball one.
Yeah, and Marinac so far, Michael, has been able to get on base. Fluke grounded out earlier to third by Jonathan Schwerab, and then was part of that great double play.
Fisher pitches, bunts down, and he is ruled safe at the plate. Surprising call, and the crowd is letting him hear it for that one as well.
And
so Marinac will reach on a fielder's choice.
So Marinac will reach on the fielder's choice, as he did in the fourth, Michael, and now there will be an official review on that play.
I don't see how you can't call that an out there. Thad Ector
did not beat the catcher, Graham Smiley, on the play, and now we're going to have to go to review.
It was a great play to try and get it to home plate rather than go to first base, and we will just have to wait and see what the call is.
Well, what did you see, Michael? Because I saw an out in that situation, but maybe you saw differently than me. I thought Graham Smiley had made the plays. He just shakes his head in disappointment.
It was most certainly a bang-bang play, but I also think Smiley got that one. But we'll just have to see what happens when the review is finished.
I'm still waiting here. Long reviews in baseball, is they got to make sure it's right, but you got to remember they called him safe to start, meaning they need irrefutable evidence to overturn this one. And now we wait and see as the fans wait anxiously as well, Michael.
And everyone here is just on tenterhooks as we just have to wait and see what the call is. And the length of it certainly does not put anyone at ease. We could see a few people looking around in disbelief still, even a good while after the call was made.
And I see Ben down there talking to the blue, making a little bit of noise over there. But, you know, that's an important out, Michael, because when you see that play be made, that could mean the difference between 2-0 and 3-0. And I know that doesn't sound like a big deal as we're going to wait. They're going to call him safe. I can't believe it.
And the call is confirmed here, and the Mountaineers will be down 3. Graham Smiley most certainly not happy about it, but he will just have to play on, and that will bring up Caleb Estes.
Yeah, just going to have to stay quiet in those situations. Don't run any risk getting ejected from the game.
Fisher will just have to move on. Quick look over the first towards Merrimack. And here comes the 0-0 to Estes. Merrimack will try and run, but that is foul anyway. And that is strike one.
And now Jordan Fisher. Just got to go back to the batter, Michael, but that's what he does so well. And the Mountaineers still well in this game. They just have to get the bats moving.
And that one is outside to make it a 1-1 count versus Estes. So far, Charlotte with 5 hits, 3 runs. And we'll just have to see if they keep things going. And that is swung on for strike 2. 1-2 count to Estes now.
And a nice pitch there by Jordan Fisher. And that's exactly why you put him in these late innings for the Mountaineers in these close games.
Fisher's ready, the 1-2. And that is quite far outside, and that is a 2-2 count.
Graham Smiley thought about throwing to Juan Correa at first, maybe catch Merrimack off guard. However, Merrimack runs back to first just in time.
And that's good awareness by Merrimack. But Fisher ready to deliver the 2-2, and that is swung on, and another hit, and Mountaineers are just flat out struggling, no other way to put it. And you just have to wonder if the game plan is going to change. We've seen a lot of attempts to get at Charlotte fishing, and it's just come back to bite the Mountaineers.
Well, a lot of those plays, Michael, have been right in between all of the guys you've shifted. And they've been able to make plays off of that and get hits. And now, once again, a runner in scoring position.
And a heavy shift to the right, as you mentioned. We're going to see if that's going to change as well. And Chandler Riley is the man up.
Well, you have a lefty batter. That's where you want Lichtenberger.
Oh, and he is quite nearly hit.
Had to spin out of that one.
Not sure if Fisher either lost control of it or if he was just trying to back Riley off. But now Fisher is set to deliver the 1-0. Kicks the pitch, and that's hit into the ground for strike 1.
Yeah, now Fisher here, Michael, facing the top of the lineup for the 49ers. Riley's already got on base by an error, but so far has been kept quiet as he's grounded out twice, once to second and another time to short.
And it's a hot season for the top of the lineup, but we'll have to see how Fisher approaches getting through them. Fisher's ready, the 1-1. And that's outside to make it 2-1 count.
Yeah, just a little high there and outside, as you said, Michael. And now Chandler Riley in a great position here to really blow this game open for the 49ers.
2 balls, 1 strike to Chandler Riley, the leadoff man. Here comes the next pitch, and that is swung on high, but it looks like they will get under this one, and that is caught to make it 2 outs. Both runners are back to their bases.
Yeah, John Kramer, great job tracking that one, able to keep both runners on base. Merrimack stays at second, as there was a situation where Kramer was able to make the play. It was an interesting play there because the lefty hit it to left field towards Kramer.
We don't see that all the time, but up comes Dawson Bryce, the sophomore, to face Jordan Fisher with 2 outs now. He's got to get something going or they will leave these runners stranded. Fisher's ready to pitch, and that is strike 1 for Fishy.
And now, great situation here for Fisher to get out of the inning. Only 1 run scored for Charlotte. It will go in as an earned run for him in this game. However, still don't agree with the call made earlier.
Fisher the pitch, and that's swung on for strike 2. Do you think this one's going to be anywhere near the strike zone, Jordan?
I think he's going to try and get him swinging again, Michael. That's what Jordan Fisher does best, trying to get out of these innings with bases and runners in scoring position.
I agree. We'll just have to see as Fisher looks back to second. He'll throw it now, and that's outside. Look over the first base, and the call is a ball.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought Jordan Fisher would try and do in this situation, but a great heads-up play there by Dawson Bryce not to swing. I agree with the call, not calling it a strike in that situation.
The crowd doesn't seem to agree, however, but it's a 1-2 count, and Fisher's ready to deliver the 1-2. And that is a foul ball. Bryce staying alive here.
Yeah, and Dawson Bryce putting Jordan Fisher in a situation now, bringing the pitch count up for him.
With this being a heavy bullpen game, we have to wonder just how many more switches the Mountaineers will make. And
I don't know who you have left.
And Fisher's ready to deliver the 1-2 again. And that is a strikeout for Jordan Fisher. And it will stay a 3-0 game, 2 runners stranded, and 6 hits in the game for the Charlotte 49ers.
Yeah, and a nice job there by Jordan Fisher to get out of the inning after an unfortunate call there that, once again, Michael, just don't really know how to think about that one because it's only 1 run, but that run could make the difference as we head into the 7th inning stretch.
And we will be back with more Mountaineers baseball right after this. And we are back with more Mountaineers baseball. Ed Wagner still on the mound here. And up will come Tyler Lichtenberger. And the Mountaineers need to start a rally here and start one soon in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, this is who you want, Michael, to start your rally. Tyler Lichtenberger, the star freshman, coming in for the Mountaineers in a great position so far. Has not had the best luck, has struck out already today and flew out to center.
Wagner the pitch, and that is ball 1. So far, Lichtenberger, just no luck today, and we'll just have to see if that changes as Jordan mentioned. But Wagner is ready to deliver the 1-0. He kicks the pitch, and that's inside. That's ball 2.
And a nice eye there by Lichtenberger. That's what he excels at. That's why he's on this starting lineup as a freshman.
And Wagner's just going to have to move on from that one. And that is right down the middle there for strike 1. I'm surprised as Lichtenberger didn't go for it.
Well, it was 2-0. I mean, you got to think that maybe Lichtenberger was taking advantage of the ump's tight strike zone. However, should have swung on that one.
Wagner the pitch, and that is swung on. But that is a foul ball to bring the count to 2-2.
Now Lichtenberger in a tough situation here, Michael, with 2-2. Still, Mountaineers only 1 hit compared to Charlotte's 6.
And both teams have been shifting quite a lot today. Shifted to the right here to try and stop Lichtenberger. Wagner the pitch. And that is swung on. That is very much a gapper. Lichtenberger will consider going to second, but he will stay at first. And that is a base hit for the Mountaineers.
And he thought about going to second there for a minute, Michael, but the kid out of Boca Raton delivers for the Mountaineers.
And indeed, this is what the Mountaineers have been needing. And perhaps now that can start the rally that we have been talking over and over about, as Tyler Figueroa will come up to try A and put more damage on the board.
And Figueroa is one of your base runners, the transfer from Siena. I remember watching him against the Mountaineers in their opening series against Hickory last year. Stole a base versus the Mountaineers and leads the Mountaineers in walks with 13.
And perhaps that was the scouting they were looking for when they brought him in. Wagner with a quick look over the first. He is going to be ready to pitch now. And here it comes. And that's a ball, 1-0.
Outside there for Figueroa. And that's exactly the kind of eye he has and why he leads the Mountaineers in walks.
And Wagner's going to have to be careful given in that Figueroa leads the Mountaineers in walks. He's not going to get a strikeout easy, and Figueroa will make him earn it as we see another pickoff attempt by the 49ers.
Yeah, that's their 6th or 7th pickoff attempt, Michael. None of them have gone their way, however, keeping the Mountaineer runners at first on their toes.
And it's important to make those base runners think as Wagner is ready to deal. And here it comes, and that is swung on, and that is a foul ball.
Yeah, that would have been a tough situation there for Wagner or the catcher Poteet had that ball been in play. And that could have been an easy base hit there for Figueroa and gotten Lichtenberger to second if it was positioned right.
Lady Luck has just sided with the 49ers tonight from the looks of it, but it is a 1-1 count, and Figueroa is not down yet.
Figueroa needs this hit so far, Michael. Out twice.
The ump giving him his bat at back, and Wagner is ready to go. Heavy shift to the left, F by the infield here. Wagner kicks, and that is swung on for strike 2.
Yeah, and you saw Figueroa just a little disappointed there, Michael. In his swing, he knew he could have made contact with that one, however, unable to do so, now down in the count.
We'll have to see how he approaches that next pitch. Can't let that disappointment linger for too long. Wagner, look over the first. He'll get ready to throw this one.
Oh, they're going to call a balk there on Wagner, it looks like. Or a warning, excuse me, Michael.
He'll just have to brush that off and move on. As he looks down Figueroa. Wagner throws, and that is hit. That is exactly what the Mountaineers have been needing, and they now have a runner in scoring position. Jordan, this was the rally that you mentioned. Do you think the Mountaineers will be able to open this one up?
Well, we'll have to see if they can act on it, Michael. Last time they had 2 runners in scoring position, one at third, one in second, and were unable to make any runs off of it. But now, Michael, it seems a little different with still no outs in the bottom of the 7th.
And we can hear the crowd tonight. They're very much trying to give the Mountaineers energy to get back into this one. And it will bring up Jonathan Schwerup.
And now we'll have a meeting at the mound.
A bit of social hour here. We'll have to see how they decide to approach this. We don't see anyone warming up in the bullpen and for the 49ers, so we doubt a switch will be coming anytime soon.
Yeah, well, it looks like there is some action in the bullpen, Michael, and Coach Woodard coming up to talk with the pitcher, Wagner. We'll see if there is a pitcher coming up. And there is some walking in the bullpen right now, Michael, and it does look like there will be a pitching change.
Well, color me surprised, but we'll just have to see if the Mountaineers can exploit the situation no matter who is on the mound.
Or no, excuse me, they're going to keep Wagner in, but they do have someone on deck and ready to go in case this game gets away from them, Michael.
And they might allow Wagner maybe only one more bat or one more hit before they pull him. We'll just have to see if Jonathan Schwerup is that man.
Well, Schwerup so far, Michael, got a walk earlier in the 2nd inning, grounded out to second in the 5th. But has been one of those starters now for the Mountaineers who didn't really start in the middle of the year in the season so far.
Wagner throws, and that's strike one. It's been a bit of a rarity for him to get ahead in the count to start, but he does so there.
Wagner, so far, Michael, has been able to make quick work of the middle of the Mountaineer lineup and the top, as he now is in a tough position with runners in scoring position.
That one's down in the dirt, and that's ball one. A 1-on-1 count to Jonathan Schwerup. Heavy shift still to the left side, even though the 49ers got bid on that. We'll just have to see what happens now. Wagner, the pitch, and that's outside again, 2-1 count. Ed Wagner, both his sisters played softball for Roanoke College, so definitely a bit in the family there. And that is strike two to Jonathan Schwerup.
Yeah, and Schwerup, once again, Michael, just trying to reach for the ball a little bit there. Has already struck out 4 times in 19 at-bats for the Mountaineers.
Crowd making some noise here. Still no outs, remember. So even if Schwerup goes down, it is not the end of the world for the Mountaineers, and he will hit this one into the sky. Runner will tag up and head to third, and now there's runners on the corners here with 1 man out.
Yeah, Lichtenberger able to get it on the sacrifice fly to third for the Mountaineers and advance the runners there. But Schwerup able to make some production, so it'll be a productive out now for the Mountaineers. And that'll bring up Braxton Church, Michael, who leads the Mountaineers in doubles. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Figueroa try and go to second. He's a sneaky runner when he's on base.
Meanwhile, for Ed Wagner, we'll have to see if he goes for the double play ball. And I'd imagine that's going to be what Robert Woodard is telling him to do.
Figueroa looks like he's ready to bolt at any point right now, Michael.
Wagner pitches, and that's called a strike one to Braxton Church.
Here's the unfortunate thing about that productive out for Schwerup. You still have 1 out, but the Mountaineers need 3 runs. And even if Lichtenberger scores, you're in a tough position where Figueroa is still at first.
And that is a hearty cut there, and it is strike 2 to Braxton Church.
As I was saying, you have a tough situation where Figueroa is still at first. Braxton Church now down in the count 0-2. And the Mountaineers, once again, Michael, could come away with no runs after some good hits earlier.
Second baseman not too far from first base, and that is a bouncer there. We have a runner now outgoing, and that is Figueroa to second base. Both runners now in scoring position, and Ed Wagner has got a much tougher situation in his hands with the double play now gone.
Yeah, and Coach Kermit Smith, Michael, going to have a little conversation with Braxton Church with both runners in scoring position, probably telling him, look at where you're positioning this ball. Has his arms on his shoulders. Kermit Smith, always the great coach for the Mountaineers, Michael, very big on player development and having personal relationships with those players.
And it shows with how long his players stay at the university. We see a lot of transferring, especially nowadays, but a lot of those that come to Boone stay in Boone.
And most of them going out, Michael, go to the league or get drafted by the MLB or go to a summer league and have a very productive careers after their stints with the Mountaineers, and that's the kind of program that Kermit Smith has built up so far.
Indeed, it's a reputation he will very much continue to carry. And Ed Wagner ready with the crowd making some noise to try and throw him off. Here comes the pitch, and that is swung on. High ball! Will that get away on the warning track, but it's caught. Both runners will go. One stops at third, and we have a run to report for the Mountaineers. The game is now 3-1 with 4 hits for the Mountaineers.
A great sacrifice fly there by Braxton Church. It was so close, Michael, to being a home run and being his first of the season. However, just unable to get it, but he gets the Mountaineers on the board and makes it 3-1 and brings up Graham Smiley.
Indeed, can't ask for too much more. And Graham Smiley, of course, hoping to bring the other runner home now.
And that runner is Figueroa. A quick runner, so we could see With 2 outs, however, Figueroa is going to run no matter what.
Same noise coming here from the Mountaineer faithful, and that is a hearty cut there. Strike one to Graham Smiley.
And it's interesting, Michael, Mountaineers going off that sacrifice fly by Braxton Church, actually in the top 20 of the NCAA in sacrifice hits.
Compared to only 24 last year, seems like the strategy has changed, and that is ball one to make it 1-1. Two outs in the inning. Pitch. Mountaineers only got one more pitch to turn that runner home and to make this a 3-2 game.
And Graham Smiley just reaching for it, trying to do anything he can to get another runner in and make it a 1-run game. However, you got on the board, Michael.
And that's a bouncer to make the count 2-2.
Ooh, Figueroa thought about it. If it wasn't for the catcher, Poteet making a great stop there off the bouncer, Figueroa probably would have ran.
In motion the bullpen, so this likely will be Ed Wagner's last inning no matter what. Quick look to third, he's ready to pitch now. Here it comes, and that's a strikeout for Ed Wagner. Mountaineers just stop short.
And there you go, Michael. However, you get on the board. That's the most important part of this inning for the Mountaineers. You get on the board. It's still only 3-1. However, you're going to have to rely on your bullpen and your infield and your outfield to make plays.
And indeed, we'll just have to see in the last 2 innings if the Mountaineers can get that done. We'll be back at the top of the 8th with more Mountaineers baseball.
Back at Jim and Betty Smith Memorial Stadium at Beaver Field, as the Mountaineers have finally got on the board to make it 3-1 against the Charlotte 49ers. And they put it in the hands of Liam Best, the reliever for the Mountaineers. Last time he pitched was against the College of Charleston. He pitched for an inning there, has pitched 7 2/3 innings so far this season for the Mountaineers. He faces Gunderson, and his first pitch is outside for ball number 1.
2 saves in 7 outings. No save opportunity here, but if he can keep a scoreless frame, they'll very much keep the Mountaineers in it.
1-0 count for Liam Best now against Gunderson. Sends in the second pitch. That one's inside for ball number 2.
Inside and a bit high as well, and a heavy shift to the left side here for the Mountaineers. They're not counting on him hitting it to the right side.
Gunderson so far having a great game. Has a single, a double, and walked in the 6th in his most recent appearance. That one's down the middle for strike number 1. 2-1 count now for Liam Best.
And Liam Best, of course, Cody Gunderson's been having a great game. We'll just have to hope Liam Best is able to keep him off the board.
Gunderson against Best. 2-1. That one swung on foul. Count now 2-2 in the top of the 8th.
I feel like 2-2 is such an important count, especially for the pitcher, because you do not ever want it to let it run full.
Gunderson, the transfer from Hutchinson Community College, had 107 RBIs there off of 122 hits. Now the 2-2 count for Liam Best. Trying to get the first out of the inning. That one swung on hard and far and away. The center fielder, Lichtenberg, is going to have to try and get on it. However, it's hit away for a home run, and it's now 4-1 for the Charlotte 49ers. Figueroa ran towards it, but it goes way out towards the fence.
And that is just a tough pill to swallow for the Mountaineers, and the Mountaineer faithful are not too happy about it. Charlotte dugout is quite pumped, though.
Gunderson's home run. We'll have to see. That'll be his 3rd of the season for the 49ers and his 3rd in D1 baseball. As Liam Best now 4-1 for the 49ers will face Noah Furch. Sends in that one. That one's in there for strike number 1 right down the middle for King Street. Graham slightly lost it a little bit. However, it doesn't matter. No runners on base. 4-1 lead now for the 49ers off of the Gunderson home run.
And that's now 7 hits for the 49ers, and Liam Best will just have to keep more runs off the board.
2 strikeouts for Furch and was part of a double play earlier. That one swung on towards shortstop. Lichtenberger's on it, and he makes the play at first towards Juan Correa for the first out.
And that's all you need there, just getting an out, just to reset your confidence, keep everyone calm, and they'll just have to move on to the next batter now.
Liam Best so far has allowed 8 hits. That was his 2nd home run allowed this season against Gunderson. It's now 4-1 Charlotte lead off of 7 hits and 1 error in the first for the Mountaineers. That was Juan Correa on the error. He'll now face Carson Bain with 1 out in the top of the 8th. That one swung on and missed for strike number 1.
And Carson Bain, of course, 20 RBI this season, but it's just been rough going for him overall, outside of the RBI total.
Carson Bain struck out in the first, struck out in the 4th. That one swung on towards 3rd, foul. It's 0-2.
0-2 count out, as you mentioned, and for Carson Bain. And you have to think Liam Best's likely going to go to a breaking ball here to try and get Bain to fish for it.
Liam Best, bases empty, trying to get the 2nd out of the top of the 8th and get the Mountaineers out of the inning after the 49ers are able to score a run off of a home run. That one's in there for strike number 3 down the middle, and Liam Best able to get his first strikeout of the game.
And that is a punch-out, folks. That'll bring up Thad Ector with 2 outs in the inning.
Thad Ector, as Michael said, now coming up. Liam Best, so far for the Mountaineers, has had, 9 strikeouts. And now Thad Ector coming up. Only 21 at-bats so far. Struck out in the 2nd, got on first in the 4th, and then got a double in the 7th and scored for the 49ers, part of that controversial call at home. Liam Best sends it in. That one's hit right towards Liam Best, and it gets through, and Thad Ector will get on first from a single.
And Thad Ector's hot streak just continuing here tonight. He's had a really good season, and you have to think Charlotte's going to play him more if he keeps playing like this.
That's 429 so far, and now coming up to bat for the 49ers, Connor Marinac, Logan Poteet, the catcher. So far, Poteet grounded out to 3rd, got a single in the 4th, and then flew out foul to right field. 0-0. It's sent in outside for ball number 1. 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Liam Best trying to get out of it for the Mountaineers. Thad Ector on first.
He's likely going to look for a ground ball here with the force out being in play.
Ector taking a large lead. Correa on the bag. Liam Best paying him no mind. Sends in the 1-0. That one swung on and missed for strike number 1. 1-1 count.
And that was quite the cut there. We've been seeing that a lot from the Charlotte batters, and they feel probably a bit inspired after that Cody Gunderson home run.
Liam Best still trying to get out of the inning for the Mountaineers. Charlotte now with 8 hits and 4 runs to the Mountaineers 1 and 3 hits. That one is a ball. However, the Mountaineers are not able to get the out as Graham Smalley threw towards Juan Correa. And Thad Ector just able to edge out the play and the throw by Graham Smiley. He had him off guard. However, the ump calls him safe. 2-1 count now with 2 outs for the Mountaineers. Liam Best now sets up for the pitch once again. Sends it in. That one swung on and missed. And Graham Smiley, it bobbles out of him. However, it goes in his favor back towards Liam Best. And Thad Ector stays at first. It's now 2-2.
And
2 outs.
And we'll have to see if he goes for another pickoff attempt, try and get Thad Ector off guard.
Ector's been taking some big leads for the 49ers. Now 2s all across the board. Liam Best trying to get out of the inning. 2-2. That one's high for ball number 3. Count now full.
3-2 count here to Logan Poteet, and it'll be interesting to see what Best's approach is on this next pitch.
Liam Best looking for his second strikeout of the game now. Full count against Logan Poteet, who has yet to strike out in this game. 2-2. That one swung on towards right field. It's high. Moquin's under it. He's going to make the play for the 3rd out, and the Mountaineers are able to get out of the inning. However, not before a home run by Gunderson makes it 4-1 for the 49ers. They now have 8 hits and 4 runs versus the Mountaineers 1. We welcome you back to 90.5 WASU FM. Mountaineers down against the 49ers 4-1, but we're in the top of the lineup in the bottom of the 8th, facing Dylan Moquin, still facing Ed Wagner, the pitcher for the 49ers. Moquin so far has been hit by pitch twice, however, unable to score and has walked. So Moquin still yet to strike out for the Mountaineers. And now in the bottom of the 8th faces Ed Wagner, who so far has been pitching the heat for the 49ers. 4-1 lead. First pitch in there and high for ball number 1 against Dylan Moquin.
And the lefty from Coral Springs, Florida, 1-0 count. He's been an instrumental for the Mountaineers today in the very little offense they have produced.
1-0 pitch low for ball number 2. It's now 2-0. And Moquin looking for his second walk of the game now, possibly. It's now gotten to around the 40s here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium. 2-0 pitch is high for ball number 3.
3-0 count. I would be very surprised if Moquin even thinks about swinging at the next one.
Mountaineers need a rally. Moquin is going to start that rally if he gets on base. So far has walked today and been hit by pitch twice. Now looking to walk again, 3-0, and that one's in down the middle for strike number 1.
Slight shift to the right side here to try and address Moquin, but I think he'll do quite well here for himself.
3-1 count for Moquin. The kid out of Coral Springs. That one's low for ball number 4. And Moquin able to walk for the Mountaineers and get on base. And that's all you need. Get on base, like Moneyball, they say.
And exactly, just as you mentioned, this is what the Mountaineers need. Sure, it is a small step, but it is a step in the right direction for your Mountaineers.
And now you bring in Joseph Zamora, who struck out earlier, was part of that double play line drive to first baseman Gunderson, but now got a double to finally get a hit for the Mountaineers. That was the first hit the Mountaineers got, and it was in the 6th inning. And now it looks like Coach Woodard will have a mound meeting and bring in a new pitcher, Michael. If that is the case, we'll have to see. He tricked us one time already.
Yeah, Robert Woodard, quite the master of trickery, and we've seen that with both his shifts, his pitching decisions, and so far it's had the Mountaineers off balance, but that could change this inning.
There's some rumblings in the bullpen, however, still no one coming out for the 49ers. Or yes, excuse me, finally the umpire on the first baseline is running out towards right field, Michael, and you know what that means. It's time for a pitching change.
Indeed, here he comes, making the jog over to the mound.
Still trying to see who it is. We're all the way on the third baseline making this call. When we return, we'll have the pitching change for you for the 49ers and give you more information on them, but you won't want to go anywhere. The action's just starting to heat up on 90.5 WASU YouTube. Back on 90.5 WASU YouTube. Pitching change for the Charlotte 49ers. A.J. Camp coming up. Michael, what do you have for us on him?
He's got a 1.29 in ERA. He's appeared in 6 games, 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 4 hits given up, 1 earned run, and that earned run was a home run. 4 walks, and he's only hit 1 batter this season.
He'll face Joseph Zamora, who's batted second for the Mountaineers. And as I said, so far, Joseph Zamora was the one who got it all started for the Mountaineers in the 6th inning. Finally got a hit for the Mountaineers as they only have 3 so far on the day. But now looks to rally the Mountaineers further with Dylan Moquin on first after a walk there by Ed Wagner, and that was what broke the camel's back. And now put A.J. Camp in this closing situation for the 49ers. His last game pitched was on March 8th versus James Madison, where he pitched 1 inning and walked 1 batter and 4 faced. Now faces Zamora, the righty. Sends it in. That one's bunted by Zamora. At least he tried to, and it's in there for strike number 1 after the failed bunt attempt.
It's a heavy shift left side. We saw the third baseman immediately try to come in, so they're at least prepared for it, Charlotte.
And now Zamora's already shown his hand to A.J. Camp. The transfer from Wake Forest didn't play any time for the Demon Deacons. Now has an 0-1 count against Zamora. That one's sent in and swung on for strike number 2. 0-2 count now for Joseph Zamora.
And that one was definitely a bit high, and Zamora definitely regretting his decision to swing at that one.
Got away from him on that one. Charlotte still leads 4-1 against the Mountaineers off of 8 hits, most recently coming off of a Gunderson home run. 0-2 count now for Joseph Zamora. Moquin takes the lead off first. Here's the 0-2, and that one's high and inside for ball number 1 by A.J. Camp.
And that one was right near the letters, and for A.J. Camp, you just have to wonder, is he going to try and force the double play, or is he going to go purely for the strikeout?
1-2 count for Camp. Looks a little bit towards Moquin at first. On the bag is Gunderson. 49ers no stranger to pickoffs. That one's outside and high for ball number 2.
And almost all the pickoff attempts tonight have been towards Moquin, and the more and more it goes on, you have to suspect that his base running ability was discussed by Robert Woodard in preparation for this game.
2-2 count now for A.J. Camp. Takes his time now against Zamora, goes off the plate. Or excuse me, the bag. Now goes back on it, pitch clock starts, now it's 17, 2-2 count. Sends it in, that one swung on towards left field, it's gonna drop! Joseph Zamora is able to get the hit. Going to third is Moquin, and he's gonna be safe. Joseph Zamora is heading towards second. And they're going to call him safe! Joseph Zamora with a clutch double to put both Mountaineers in scoring position.
And that is an absolutely crucial play for the Mountaineers. This is what they needed. The crowd is very much in approval. Both runners in scoring position, and it will bring up the outfielder, John Kramer.
John Kramer for the Mountaineers, another one of those power hitters in the top of the lineup. Batting third today, the left fielder. Both Mountaineers now in scoring position after Joseph Zamora's second double of the game. Kramer so far has struck out twice. That first one is high for ball number 1.
And that is a very good job by John Kramer to not get too excited and not swing at a pitch that was outside the strike zone.
1-0 count for John Kramer. Charlotte still leads 4-1. However, Kramer is the tying run. Here's the 1-0 by Camp. That one is in for strike number 1. A little high there, however, I agree with the call.
The crowd, however, does not. We can hear all of them yelling quite well from here.
John Kramer, so far batting .296. Still looking for his first hit of the day. That one's hit way towards left field. Will it drop? Yes, it will! Scoring is Moquin. Scoring is Zamora. John Kramer will head to second, getting into scoring position for the Mountaineers. It's now 4-3.
And Jigsaw putting together the pieces of the puzzle there, and the crowd is loving it.
John Kramer with a huge 2 RBI double for the Mountaineers. And now you bring up Juan Correa, the home run king for the Mountaineers, and this is not what you wanted to see if you were A.J. Camp.
And indeed, A.J. Camp's going to have to be quite careful here, and we know Juan Correa is going to be quite aggressive with these swings.
Correa so far has struck out twice in the 4th and the 6th, and now Woodard will head up towards the bag to have a conversation. We'll have to see if there's another pitching change for the 49ers, as there is action in the bullpen. However, Michael, Mountaineers so far making the comeback against the 49ers. 1 run away, and it is John Kramer right now who's on the bag. He is the tying run at second.
And it went from looking out of sight for the Mountaineers, but they have brought it right back. And if you believe in miracles in the high country, one could happen tonight.
4-3. Mountaineers still down by 1, 8-5. Or excuse me, 8 hits to 5 hits. Mountaineers have 1 error. Juan Correa up to bat for the Mountaineers now. Still looking for his first hit of the game, and could be the winning run for the Mountaineers. As I said before, right now, 15th in the NCAA in terms of home runs. And now it looks like there will be a pitching change, Michael.
A.J. Camp pulled surprisingly quickly, but it seems like the 49ers feared this one getting away from them, and we will update you on who that pitcher is quite soon.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll update you on the pitching change for the 49ers, but you won't want to go anywhere. The action is heating up at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium. Mountaineers now only down by 1. Back here for Mountaineer baseball at 3333 Beaver Field in Boone, North Carolina. Pitching change for the Charlotte 49ers. It'll be Trey Baker, who so far for Charlotte has pitched only 2 1/3 innings, but he'll face the power hitter in Juan Correa, the transfer from UNC Charlotte. And now, Michael, we have a little bit of a interesting matchup here as Juan Correa transferred from Charlotte last year, where he played 55 games for them, and now faces his own teammates in a clutch situation here as the Mountaineers down by 1. John Kramer in scoring position, the tying run.
You can't let those emotions get to you, but here we go. Trey Baker ready for the pitch.
Still no outs in the top of the bottom of the 8th. Juan Correa swings and misses for strike number 1.
And again, quite the hardy cut. We've seen that a lot from Juan Correa tonight and all season.
Give you a little history. These teams have played each other since 1980. Charlotte right now leads the series overall. 0-1 count for Correa. He just doesn't swing at it, and it's just in there for strike number 2.
And to elaborate on what you said, Ed, there, App won the last meeting 7-9 during 2022 on March 13th.
That was a 3-game series in Charlotte. These teams actually do have one tie that came in 2007. That one swung on by Juan Correa. It's far and away. Is it gone? She is gone. And Juan Correa gives the Mountaineers the lead 5-4.
And do you believe in miracles, Boone? My goodness, what a shot from Juan Correa. And the dugout is absolutely electric tonight.
Juan Correa's 8th home run of the season, and boy, did it come in a big way against Trey Baker. And the Mountaineers, who've been down all game, now have the lead 5-4 off of 6 hits.
And the 2-run moonshot, never in doubt whatsoever. And the home run king now sits on his throne once more.
Still no outs in the bottom of the 8th. Mountaineers now lead the 49ers for the first time all game. And now coming up, Tyler Lichtenberger, the shortstop, scored the first run for the Mountaineers in the 7th off of a single, and now faces Trey Baker. That one high for ball number 1.
And if you're Trey Baker, you just need to settle down after giving up the home run. You can only go as far as the next batter takes you.
1-0 count. That one in there for strike number 1. 1-1 count now. 5-4 Mountaineer lead. Sorry, Michael.
And if you're the Mountaineers, after that Correa home run, you have to wonder if they're going to be swinging a bit more aggressively as we get a ball there on the play.
Outside for ball number 2. 2-1 count now for Tyler Lichtenberger. Base is now empty. If you're just joining us, Juan Correa home run gives the Mountaineers the lead 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th for the first time. 4-run rally in the bottom of the 8th off of now 6 hits overall. That one outside for ball number 3 for Lichtenberger, and now It's looking a little dicey here for the 49ers.
They've not faced much danger all game, but you're right. Now they're going to have to put up a run in the ninth if they want any chance of this game going on.
3-1. That one in there for strike number 2. Real quick pitch there by Trey Baker to make the count full against Tyler Lichtenberger, trying to get the first out of the inning.
And all the infielders backing off slightly. An interesting choice. We'll have to see what Lichtenberger does with that information.
Full count for Lichtenberger. Trey Baker trying to get his first out. That one swung on by Lichtenberger hard. However, it's out of play down the third base line.
And that is a screamer into the forest there of a foul ball.
Count remains full. Lichtenberger trying to keep the Mountaineer rally going. Struck out in the second, flew out to center in the fourth. And now here comes the full count pitch. That one inside for ball number 4, and Lichtenberger will walk and keep the rally going.
And they checked for the call there out at third base, but the umpire gave him the walk.
So Trey Baker still looking for his first strikeout in the bottom of the 8th as he came in for relief for A.J. Camp. And now coming in, Tyler Figueroa for the Mountaineers. Still no outs in the bottom of the 8th. They lead 5-4. And once again, Woodard will come out to the mound. There is some action in the bullpen. We'll have to see if they'll come in for another reliever, Michael.
And you have to wonder if they're regretting the decision to take out A.J. Camp, their primary reliever, and going to Trey Baker instead.
We'll have to see what the mound conversation is about. Woodard will point towards the bullpen, and it looks like we will get another pitching change. We'll be back with more Mountaineer baseball. They now lead 5-4 against the 49ers, looking to keep the rally going in the 8th. Mountaineer rally in the bottom of the 8th as they now lead 5-4 against the Charlotte 49ers. Still no outs in the bottom of the 8th. Off of a Juan Correa home run, giving the Mountaineers the lead. His 8th home run of his season here at App State, the Charlotte transfer. And now Tyler Figueroa will try and keep this rally going with Lichtenberger at first. Trey Baker is now the pitcher for the 49ers. That one's a little blooper by Figueroa. And that one is caught by the first baseman, Gunderson, for an out.
And it just looked like he got under that one on the bunt attempt, and Cody Gunderson made him pay for it.
Excuse me, it's Adam Stanton in for the pitching change. There are so many pitching changes in the bottom of the 8th, it's hard to keep track. Adam Stanton will now be the pitcher for the 49ers. And now Jonathan Schwerb will be up for the Mountaineers. Now one out in the bottom of the 8th. So far, Schwerb today walked in the 2nd and grounded out in the 5th and flew out in the 7th. First pitch to Schwerb, away for ball number 1.
And the Mountaineers have been able to punish these shifts. We see another one heavily to the left side. 3 past second base there. And we'll have to see if Schwerb can make them pay for it.
Adam Stanton pitched 1/3 inning against James Madison on March 8th. Faces Schwerb now, 1-0 count. That one swung on and missed for strike number 1.
And as you mentioned, still just the 1 out for the Mountaineers. This has been the inning they needed, and they've already put up 4. There's potential for more still.
1-1 count now for Schwerb with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Mountaineers now lead 5-4. A little pickoff attempt there by Stanton is no good. With Lichtenberger at first, he's able to get back in time. Count still remains 1-1. Schwerb now sets up in the batter's box, and now Stanton will face him. Does not look, now goes for the pickoff attempt against Lichtenberger, his 2nd in a row. And once again, Lichtenberger able to dive back to first.
The 49ers pitcher is certainly worried about the Mountaineers' speed. And we'll see how he goes on now.
That one is swung on and missed for strike number 2 by Schwerb. 1-2 count now. Still 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, but Mountaineers have the lead. Schwerb trying to keep it going.
And as for the 49ers, Adam Stanton just trying to keep the ship steady, having gotten the first out of the inning for the 49ers.
Stanton before this game pitched 9 1/3 innings so far this season. Goes off for another pickoff attempt against Lichtenberger. Once again, he's able to dive back safe. That's his 3rd one in 5 pitches. 1-2 count for Schwerb. Adam Stanton looking for the 2nd out of the inning after a blooper to first. That one's inside. Lichtenberger going to run to 2nd off of the wild pitch, and he'll get there easily.
And that is the 2nd time we have seen that tonight. Just miscues at the wrong time and for the 49ers, costing them dearly.
And Lichtenberger will go to scoring position now. 2-2 count for Jonathan Schwerb with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
And now with the double play out of favor here, let's see what happens.
Adam Stanton sets up, looks back towards 2nd at Lichtenberger. Now at the pitch, that one swung on and missed by Schwerb for strike number 3 and out number 2 in the bottom of the 8th.
And that is probably a huge sigh of relief for the Charlotte bullpen. And remember, if they don't get a run and at least in the top of the 9th, it will be over for them.
Well, don't sign too hard. You have Braxton Church coming up for the Mountaineers. Walked in the 2nd, grounded out, or excuse me, struck out in the 2nd, yes, struck out in the 5th, and flew out to right field off of a sacrifice fly that got the RBI to start the Mountaineers scoring in the 7th. The lefty will now face Adam Stanton, who's trying to get out of the inning after the Mountaineers took the lead away from Charlotte for the first time this game. Sends in the first pitch. That one's inside for ball number 1.
And as you can see, the infielders are a bit back except for the 3rd baseman, and they're shifted over a bit to the right. An interesting choice considering how much the shifts have been punished today.
Shortstop, a little shifted towards 2nd. That's Marinac. Lichtenberger taking quite a big lead off of 2nd. It's keeping Stanton in mind. His 2nd pitch in there for ball number 2, and Lichtenberger, it looks like it actually hit Braxton Church, excuse me. So Church will get to first off of a hit by pitch, and the ump calls the play dead anyway. So Lichtenberger didn't get to 3rd. However, Braxton Church gets to first now, and now there's 2 runners on base with Graham Smiley coming up for the Mountaineers.
You now have a force out at every single base, so it's not all bad for Charlotte, but they still do have to be careful here.
Graham Smiley so far today struck out all 3 of his at-bats, once in the 3rd, then in the 6th, and then in the 7th. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Lichtenberger at first, Braxton Church at first, excuse me, Lichtenberger at 2nd. Both of them taking the lead off. Indifference by the infielders. That one swung on by Graham Smiley towards right. Running towards it is the first baseman, Gunderson, and he's unable to make the catch as it goes out of play and becomes a souvenir.
And we saw a few kids scrambling for that one, but regardless, Graham Smiley, 5 home runs on the season. Well, I'm sorry, 5 hits on the season, 1 home run. We'll have to see if he wants to put another one on the board here to keep this Mountaineer rally going.
Smiley batting .217 so far. In the catcher position today over Braxton Church, who is in at designated hitter for the Mountaineers. 0-1 count now for Graham Smiley off of the foul ball. 2 outs. Graham Smiley hits that one far and away. It's going back. The center fielder's on it. However, it doesn't look like it's going to go out. And making the play is the left fielder Nolan, but he runs into his teammate Carson Bain. So Charlotte gets out of the inning after a wacky series of events. However, the story is the Juan Correa home run to give the Mountaineers the lead, and they'll try and win the game and take it away from the 49ers in the top of the 9th. Top of the 9th for the Mountaineers. They now lead the Charlotte 49ers 5-4. And it's all in the pitching hands of Liam Best, who pitched to the last inning for the Mountaineers, was able to get them out of the inning. And now the Mountaineers have a chance to steal one against the 49ers after trailing all day until the 8th inning, where 2 doubles and a John Kramer home run gave them, a Juan Correa home run gave the Mountaineers the lead. Liam Best will now face Connor Marinac for the first one. That one's way outside for ball number 1 to start.
And that one had Graham Smiley having to reach for it to get up, go get it, but get it he did.
Marinac, so far today, grounded out to second. That one's in there for strike number 1. Got on base by fielder's choice twice in the 4th and the 7th, and got an RBI hit. 1-1 count now for Marinac. Liam Best sends it in. That's a check swing. And they're going to call it a ball. 2-1 count.
He was very, very close to going around there, but it looks like the correct call from up here.
A little bit of a 50-50 call there for the umpires. 2-1 count for Marinac, the red shirt sophomore. Liam Best sends that one in down the heat, but it's considered outside, and it's now 3-1.
The crowd is very much letting them hear it for that one.
Well, you know, you're cold. It's been a long day, and you just want to kind of get out of this one. However, top of the 9th, Mountaineers still in a dire situation, only leading by 1, 5-4. That one's high for ball number 4, and Marinac, the tying run, will be on first.
And the go-ahead run coming up now, it's number 14, the leadoff man, Chandler Riley.
And no, actually, there is a batting change. It's Nolan coming up for the 49ers, Michael.
And Spencer Nolan, more of a utility man.
Or no, excuse me, it's Juan Rivera. And now I'm really confused because the live stats says Nolan, but it is Rivera up to bat, the junior. Liam Best sends that one, and it's high and outside for ball number 1.
You have to wonder if Liam Best is letting these pitches get away from him. However, the double play ball is still in play.
And now there's going to be a discussion at the mound. Mountaineers Still no outs in the top of the ninth. They lead 5-4 against the Charlotte 49ers, who have led all game. And we can continue this conversation at the plate. It is Rivera up to bat. The live stats were wrong. They had Nolan up to bat. However, Rivera was the one who came up. So an interesting situation there, Michael, and we'll go through it, however.
Very much so, and I think Juan Rivera could be a key piece, but at the same time, he's also only got a .161 average on the season.
Kermit Smith will keep Liam Best on the mound. 1-0 count against Juan Rivera. So far in his season, 31 at-bats, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts against him. Walked also 4 times. Looking for walk number 2 possibly, or another hit to put Marinak in scoring position. That one is bunted towards third. Schwerab goes towards first to make the play. However, advancing is Marinak towards second, but you get the out, Michael.
Yeah, I don't think you were going to get at Marinak there, so take the safe play, take the out, and you just get what you can get.
A nice sacrifice bunt there by Juan Rivera. Gets Marinak to second. And now coming up, Chandler Riley, Michael, who you were talking about earlier, the leadoff hitter for the 49ers. We're back at the top of the lineup with 1 out in the top of the ninth. Mountaineers can stow it away with 2 more outs off of the pitching of Liam Best. They lead 5-4. Best sends in the first pitch, and that's in there for strike number 1 against Riley.
And the crowd is absolutely loving the Mountaineers here tonight, as they always do. And that strike there, just another example.
Riley in his 5th at-bat for the 49ers. Hasn't got on base since the first off of an error by Juan Correa. That one is swung on way towards right field. On it is Moquin. Can he make the catch? He does. Now going to third is Marinak, and he will make it. So now Marinak in scoring position off of 2 sacrifice hits by the 49ers. But you have 1 more out to get. If you're Liam Best, you have to focus on the batter.
Yeah, you have absolutely no other choice, because if you don't, that run comes home, and you just can't let that happen if you're Liam Best.
Liam Best trying to get out of the inning for the Mountaineers. So far today has pitched 1 2/3 inning, has allowed 2 hits, has struck out 1 batter, did allow a home run earlier by Gunderson. He'll now face Dawson Bryce. That one's in there for strike number 1, right down the middle of King Street.
And as you said, yeah, Dawson Bryce clearly unhappy with himself for not swinging at that one.
Dawson Bryce grounded out in his first 3 at-bats, struck out in the 7th. 0-1 count. That one swung on and missed for strike number 2. Stay calm, folks. Liam Best still has 1 strike to give here to Dawson to try and get out of the inning and get the Mountaineers the win. Crowd on their feet. 0-2 count with 2 outs in the top of the ninth. That one swung on and missed for strike number 3, and the Mountaineers take it away 5-4.
And as I said earlier, do you believe in miracles? Boone. An absolutely beautiful win for the Mountaineers, taking it right at the end from the Charlotte 49ers.
Mountaineers win 5-4 off of 6 hits. Charlotte had 8 hits. Mountaineers with 1 error, Charlotte with none. And the Mountaineers will get the win against the 49ers. They will return to play them again next Tuesday. However, they face Texas State coming up next to start Sun Belt Conference play. Michael, what do you think about this game? What an amazing game from start to finish. A close one, but the Mountaineers end up with the win after some great hitting in the later innings.
I just think miscues at the very end cost Charlotte the win, but the Mountaineers are very much inspired by the crowd and very much inspired by the great Kermit Smith, as always, and Juan Correa, the home run king, doing what he does best.
It looks like Liam Best, off of his pitching, will give the Mountaineers the win. It'll probably give him the win as well, I would presume. And getting the loss will probably be AJ for the 49ers. However, the Mountaineers able to come out with the win off of, I gotta say, some clutch hitting in the 8th. You had Joseph Zamora with a double, John Kramer with a double, and then the Juan Correa home run, his 8th of this season, for the Mountaineers, and boy, did it come in a big way after he struck out twice.
Very much so. There was the icing on the cake to a great rally. There were more runs to be had, but they ended up not being necessary for the Mountaineers.
So the Mountaineers will get the win against the Charlotte 49ers here on Tuesday during spring break. The Mountaineers' next game will be March 14th, next Friday, or excuse me, this Friday. I'm losing track of time. I've been here so long, against Texas State, and they will play that series Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then next Tuesday, they'll go to Charlotte to face the 49ers, and we will be here for the Texas State series. But that'll do it for your game today here at Jim and Betty Smith Stadium. Mountaineers take it away 5-4. We will now end it here on 90.5 WA.